And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. This is going to be episode 131. So in this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be doing a comic book review of Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1. And then later on in the show, we are going to be talking about comic book sales because, as you guys know, the industry likes to lie to a lot of you about the state of the industry, actually. I mean, given how one of the biggest distributors literally has just filed for bankruptcy. So definitely not a good state of the industry to actually be in. And then we'll talk about the new Superman comic book series that is going to be starting for what they're calling it, like the Summer of Superman.
Summer of Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be something to talk about as well, because if you guys don't actually know this, for Superman for a little bit there, they've been kind of not finding a consistent writer. So it basically, so you have Joshua Williamson's run on just Superman, so that standalone series. And then you have Action Comics. So we'll just go from like a recent period. So you had like Brian Michael Bendis, who you guys know who created Miles Morales. He was this big thing that DC brought over.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Bendis is coming.
Bendis is coming. If you remember, Jim Lee drew him an amazing Action Comics number 1000 cover. It's the one where Superman's standing like this with the Daily Planet globe in the back. It's awesome art piece. Absolutely just a complete gigabanger. And then, Bendis apparently ruined Superman for a lot of people. Then after that, you had Philip Kennedy Johnson come in and do Superman War World. I actually haven't read that run yet, but I have War World over there. It's a huge ass book. So after Philip Kennedy Johnson, they went in a different direction. So there's many directions they've went in. So they've been jungling writers after him because they haven't found a consistent person to be on the book. And then they made this another initiative to make it look more attractive to write on Action Comics. So they're doing this thing called, I guess, Superman All-Stars. Yeah. It's like Superman All-Stars. So you guys saw Jason Aaron. He wrote a 3-part arc. Gail Simone wrote a 3-part arc on Action Comics. And then you had Action Comics go into the House of Brainiac. That was in a little mini Superman event that ended up happening. And then after that, you had Mark Waid on the book. And Mark Waid was doing Action Comics Weekly. And then obviously after the election, we saw his tweets on Blue Sky. He's mentally deranged. He's not on Action Comics Weekly from what I understand, because when I bought the newest issue of Action Comics, there was another writer on there. So maybe apparently, not even just barring politics, maybe apparently it was too much for him, because keep in mind, guys, it was not just Action Comics he was on. He was on Justice League Unlimited. He's on Batman and Robin Year One. He was also on Zone World's Finest. He's on essentially five books at once. So barring politics aside, that's a lot of books to be writing to keep it consistent, obviously. And he's mentally deranged, so let's not strain his brain any more than it needs to be, actually. So they haven't found a consistent Superman writer in a while. It's crazy that the comic series, Action Comics, that started comic books, you can't find someone to be on what is arguably like the most legendary run in comics history, essentially, if we're going as far as like impact on the actual medium. Like, keep in mind, guys, Action Comics number 1 is where it started, Superman's first appearance, and the state of where Superman is so bad. They have to take just holy shit. They have to find the gutter. They have to go to the gutter, the actual gulag, to find people to write on the Superman book. It's crazy. Like,
it's crazy.
You can't just put Joshua Williamson on Action Comics. You gotta just like make it this like, hey, you can come over here, you can write a 3-part arc and get the fuck out. Why not just have Jason Aaron do the book then? I don't know. Why do we have to do this with DC? But nevertheless, I will let my hate flow through me when we talk about Green Lantern.
Jason Aaron's a good. He's already writing Absolute Superman, so I mean, keep him in the Superman headspace.
Wasn't he supposed to be that leading guy for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? That whole big reinitiative that IDW?
They had like pre-orders and stuff. I have a few of the trades of the IDW Turtles. I haven't read everything that I have, but I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Cool. It's just one of those things where it's like, how many times can you kind of reinvigorate TMNT? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
how many storylines can it be where literally it's just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just doing the same shit essentially, so it's just redone. So
yeah.
What else is happening? No, that's pretty much it for the most part. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else big happen? Because I was just going over the general cliff notes before we get to the actual video portion of it. Oh, if you guys don't know, me and Professor Savage Dad, obviously we do the show Tuesdays, but if he's out of town for work, then we do it the following Sunday. And I also found another guy to do comic book content with, and that's this guy, Labs Comic Fan. So he made his first appearance on the MSK show. I think it was episode, I forgot what episode it was. Good Lord, my brain is fried. He came on in a very recent episode. I remember. Actually, I'm kidding. I should look it up. He came on episode 124, and he was like, "You want to do comic book content together?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Two white guys collaborating. Sign me up." You know,
that's how it is.
I was thinking like, it was funny. It's a fun fact, everyone. I actually haven't reviewed a DC book on the show yet at all. I on my comic book channel, the only books that I've reviewed are indie books. Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers run. We did. So essentially we did all the Rippaverse books, all of them. We did Image and Skybound, Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers series. We did Deadpool and Wolverine, WW3, and that was just to say, I don't even know. It's one of those books where I consciously thought about after we finished reviewing. I was like, man, did I just waste my time? And like Savage had asked me, he was like, do you think it would have been better if we just waited for a trade to read this? I was like, no, it's the same shit. It's just terrible, you know? And so after that, we did indie books. We did Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. I know we did that. And shit. Oh, Creature. We did that for Phoenix Press. And that's a set. Oh, I did Zeb Wells's first volume for Amazing Spider-Man. Certainly one of the books of all time. Truly comic book epicness right there. Words were written. Spider-Man.
Villains. Zeb Wells.
Yep.
Poor Zeb Wells.
Good Lord, man. What else did I? Yeah. After that, that's essentially it. So we've not like dibbled and dabbled in the DC world yet. So yeah, can't wait to do it when we talk about this. Man, my boy Hal Jordan did his thing. My favorite Green Lantern, Savage Dad's is Kyle Rayner, I think. It's like, no. Hal Jordan is best. He's Chad.
Oh, that's
all the girls.
That's a
hot take.
That's a fierce debate amongst people with the who's your favorite. I'll say this: the worst arguments to get into with Green Lantern fans is the Guy Gardner ones, because they're the ones that were they stick to it. Like there's no changing that. There's no prying into that brain to even see your point of view. They are just all Guy Gardner all the time.
WZ says third time's the charm, I guess. Andrew, what's up, buddy? Can't wait to see you on the show tomorrow if you want to be on. Michael says Cotton 4K. Cotton doing what? What? Me being an absolute Chad? What do you mean? What do you mean, sir? Good Lord. Hi, Emily. How are you doing? So, yeah, guys, we're gonna try and potentially do this weekly, once a week. Probably on Friday is the best day because probably around this time, like 8 p.m. PST, which is whatever book. So I chose the book this time around, so it's his turn to do it. So it's only fair to have the white man do it the next book. So whatever book I have over there that you want to review for DC, just let me know.
I mean, we can do anything, to be honest.
Okay.
Because
so
I mean, we can do Marvel
if
you want.
9 cupboards over there, and then there's a case over there. Then there's shit on this desk, and then there's shit in that other room, and there's more shit in that closet. So there's just shit everywhere.
I do have a lot of Marvel stuff. It's just, I just prefer DC. I think that's.
Do you have the speaking of Mark Waid, since we just did this one, do you have the Shazam trade for this? Shazam Volume 1?
No, I do not.
Do you have the first 5 issues? Did you buy Shazam books at all when they did the Dawn of DC initiative? No. Okay. We could do that one if you want. Wait, hold on.
I could just pick it up. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I have that one, but we'll discuss that later. Good Lord. So I'm just gonna set up this stream I have for tomorrow, and we're gonna be good to go. But yeah, man, how was your week so far, dude?
My week's been taxing.
What happened?
it's just work stuff. My company, the company I work for, got bought out by a larger company, and they're like merging employees, and I'm gonna have to train a bunch of people.
Oh
So
gosh, I thought it meant like you're gonna lose your job. Holy shit!
Oh no,
Can't
no,
afford comic books on unemployment. That would be very
no,
bad.
no. I wouldn't. No, that wouldn't be able to. I mean, I would last for a few years, but then I'd have to start getting back into the workforce. But other than that, honestly, like my days are consumed with hanging out with my children and reading comic books. I'm a very low maintenance person.
Wait a minute, hold on. You're in your kid's life. You're married.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of them. You didn't just do the whole black guy thing and run away. What the hell?
Well,
crazy.
I don't know. I'm not black, so I can't really, speak on that. But I can say that none of my kids like comics except one. So I'm kind of the odd man out.
You got the wrong kids. Time to exchange them into an adoption agency. Got to return them. Do they have a return policy on kids? I
don't think so. But they definitely have a switch policy when they're all in those little cribs. You just,
oh God,
man, the other label on there, and you can get yourself a different kid.
Good gosh, how old are they? I think you said in the last episode they're like 5, 6.
No, my youngest is 7. Then I have a 24-year-old, a 20-year-old, and an 18.
So you're a DILF essentially.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's essentially it's the mom version of a MILF.
Oh. No, I'm kind of out of. I'm out of shape. I'm less in shape than I have become just shapes. So, not really. I just my other 3 children. My oldest lives with his girlfriend, and the other 2 are in college. So, I got the little guy here, which is loads of fun.
Shit, I imagine that's like way easier.
It's a lot easier now. Yes, it's a lot easier. Well, that, and it's a lot easier being this, having gone through all of the things that scare you when you're, a new parent.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Nothing much phases you anymore. The kid can run right into the wall, like where the first time that happened, you're like, oh my God. Now it's like, dude, what are you doing? Get up. Being
Did
weird.
it ever like scare you that randomly you could be like walking next to them and then they could like someone could like bump them and hit them really hard? That always freaked me out.
No, the biggest thing for me was them trying new things. Like, say we were at the pool and they thought, like, I see how that guy's doing that, I'm gonna do it, and then they just sink to the bottom or something, like, those type of things were what I was more afraid of than anything else.
Okay, yeah, it's more dangerous stuff. Like, they'll see people do stuff and they're like, you know what? I can do this too. I can fly. I'm Superman. It's like, no, honey, we don't have powers like them. It's, we're normal people.
That was mostly the thing. I was a pretty chill dad. I was very disciplinarian, but I also was, as long as you did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We got along very well. And I've been blessed. I've also been blessed to have a very awesome wife. So,
yeah, me too. Yeah. She's in the other room as a cardboard cutout. You can't see her, but she's there. Don't worry, she gets a lot of air every day.
At least she doesn't talk back.
Oh shit, holy crap, man, we're losing it here, guys. We're all down bad.
It's all right.
Don't worry, we're here, guys. We have the best possible content for you, because as you guys know, I love talking about comic books, and I can't wait to dive into one of my boys, my guys. He was just doing his thing, this book. So
he definitely was. So I'll start off
into it. Well, before you get into it, we'll go to the video form and we just let you go. All right. Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1. So this was a comic book that was recommended to me by Thinking Critical's YouTube channel, and the guy that runs it, his name is Wes. So he is a guy that, wait a minute, my brain fried. Hold on, wait a minute. Did my brain fry?
Hey, what you doing?
Relax, man. I'm just trying to grab some nuts.
Oh, hell no!
Okay, guys, I'm entertaining you. I gave you the fake, and I gotta give you the real one. Okay, I'm joking, guys. It's crazy. People are like, you gotta be more entertaining. I'm like, yeah, I do. So I give you the fake intro. Like, this guy's really getting into it. Then I'm like, bam! I slap you with the, no, it's never happening. Okay, we're joking. We're getting all serious. Let's go. Come have some fun. We're ready.
Oh my.
And we're going to be piercing into my butthole. And I'm going to be getting inside of Diddy's. I'm kidding, everyone. Time for some.
I'm not going to be there. I'll just say that. I'll watch from afar.
Can't wait to have a baby with Jay-Z. I'm kidding, guys. I'm joking. So, hey, everyone. I am MSK, a.k.a. Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1. So this was a comic book that I was recommended by Wes of Thinking Critical. So he essentially was a very big proponent of actually people reading Jeremy Adams's run on Green Lantern, which is a Green Lantern run that started with the Dawn of DC initiative up there, right? So later on, this run has now been a total of, wait a minute, you're white. I can't do it.
Just having fun with off limits in Mister's house.
Nigga, did I just catch you having fun?
Okay. People think, okay. No more fake outs. No more M. Night Shyamalan twists. No more.
What's a twist?
This is me. This is the real me, guys. Okay. Essentially, I am the master of horror. No, yeah, that's the saying. I think it's the saying, right? Who's a better horror master, James Wan or John Carpenter? Probably John Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
Probably, yeah. James Wan, he made Malignant. That was just that was just yikes. All right. No more redos. No more moving in time. We're just going to be two white guys having some fun. I'm kidding. All right, let's go.
Let's
do this.
All right.
Hey, everyone. I'm black, and you're white. Nope. I almost faked it, but I'm not doing it anymore. I am consistent. And I don't know what I am anymore. I'm just a tall, rich, good-looking guy. All right, all jokes aside, let's get serious. Hey, everyone. I'm MSK, a.k.a. Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1. So this was a comic book series that was recommended to me by Wes of Thinking Critical. So whenever he would do like top comic books he would recommend for like the week, he would usually always put the issues of Green Lantern. And this specific Green Lantern run started back in 2023, and the writer of it is Jeremy Adams, and he was brought on for the Dawn of DC initiative. So for those of you who don't know, I was actually first introduced to the Green Lanterns actually in the Justice League Unlimited, Justice League animated series. But in that actual DC animated shows, their Green Lantern is John Stewart, actually. So I always thought that Green Lantern was just black. So come 2011, and then you had 2012, you had Green Lantern, they had Ryan Reynolds who would portray Hal Jordan. And I was like, wait, I thought he's black. Come to find out, because as you guys know, I didn't grow up with comic books around me. I had to kind of reach it online, kind of find out. Technically, he's not really the first one. It's like Alan Scott, but Hal Jordan is one of the ones that is initially up front for the Green Lanterns that most people would know. So after that, you had that animated series that got canceled after like one season. I remember seeing like an episode and a half. I was like, that's my guy. Great Hal, that's a Chad. So then after watching like an episode of that, I think it was like a little bit of it. I saw it at a friend's house. I watched the Justice League War animated movie, and I just fell in love with the character. I was like, that's my guy. That's my Green Lantern right there. And this is actually going to be the first DC comic book we review on the channel. So those who don't know, we've never actually reviewed anything DC related. Not because I don't like DC. As you guys can tell from, well, his and mine's background, we have mostly more DC stuff than any other company. So let's get into this, because this book, hey, you guys know me. I love me some Daniel Warren Johnson on Transformers. I think that's the best comic book out there right now currently. But Jeremy Adams, Green Lantern run, this is just absolutely great. And if you actually get this version of the book, you actually get 2 bonus issues as well. So essentially you get 8 issues. So this covers Green Lantern issues number 1 through 6, and you get Night Terror's Green Lantern 1 through 2. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go, why do I need to have the Night Terrors in there? Because I heard that was not a good event. It might not have been. I'm not saying it was. I haven't read anything. But the Night Terror stuff actually directly plays into how this makes it better. Because I mean, if it was just issues 1 through 6, it would be pretty good. It wouldn't be that bad. It'd be great, honestly. But that just made it even better, because now you know what's really going on for how the story really plays out. So, yeah, overall, if you just want my honest recommendations, get this. This is so good. This is great. Man, Hal Jordan did his thing in here, and we're going to just really deep dive into this. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Lapsed Comic Fan. This is not Professor Savage Dad. So, I know I usually do comic book reviews with him. I essentially race swapped him out for another white guy. See? Hey, we can do it here too. We can race swap.
You got the lesser of the two.
Oh
right
now. So how you doing, man?
I'm good.
Ready to talk about some Green Lantern. So
yes, sir.
You wanted to go first because you wanted to go over what you liked about the book initially. So
I was gonna say I was gonna bring up the Night Terrors thing. It was if it wasn't in there, a big part of the story leading into the 4th chapter at the end of chapter 3, you would have been kind of confused. Because something happens, and we'll get to it, and you're going to be like, oh, okay. But the Night Terrors itself, I read a lot of it, and most of them were like, whatever, whatever. But these 2, I've actually thought, in context with this, made it a lot better than whenever I was reading Night Terrors, and I hadn't read these issues beforehand. So taken out of context the other way, it made even less sense, because it just seemed like a bunch of dreams for the characters that had their book, with you finding out what actually transpired beforehand and afterwards.
Yeah, and for a lot of people who don't actually understand who Hal Jordan essentially is, his Green Lantern power is always based off willpower. So if you kind of consider, just off name alone, what Night Terror is, you would probably understand that this would make more sense with his character than any other character, maybe than like Batman, maybe, right? Also, what's really cool is I didn't know this. Was that Jeremy Adams actually wrote on the first Night Terror issue, and that was like, oh god, it was great. I don't know, man, that Jeremy Adams, you can sure write, buddy. And the art in this book is just awesome, man. The art is so good. It feels like an animated series art. And that's why I really like Dan Moore's art. It feels very DC animated style to me. It feels like I can really believe this world exists, actually. So let's get into the story. So there is a bit of context you need to actually know about this story, but they do mention it later in the book as well. So Dawn of DC as an initiative for DC started after the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths event. You guys are probably going to go like, wait, Crisis on Infinite? No. There was actually an event called Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Not the original Crisis that you guys all know and love. Not that. There's another event. So,
well, at first it was Dark Crisis. But then they brought the Earths back, and then it became Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you want, you can go to my YouTube channel. I covered every issue.
How did you do that? I don't know. You were insane.
I only covered, I think, 2 of the tie-ins because I read them. I read the whole thing. Yeah. The whole thing. And there was 2 tie-ins that actually were good with the story. Yeah. But man, you had to know a lot. The one thing I'll give him is you had to know a lot of things from the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, because you had to know Pariah. and they brought the darkness, right? The Great Darkness was something
which they
that
mentioned
Alan
here,
Moore
too.
did in the 70s or something like that on a Green Lantern thing, or maybe not Green, maybe it was Swamp Thing. I think it was Swamp Thing. Did something with Swamp Thing. So it was like, even I, who had been reading for a while, I had to go look up stuff because I was like, what the hell is this? Like, and then, it was a mess. But spawning out of that spawned the dawn of DC.
Yes.
And that's where that came from.
Yes. Also in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, there's an event that they always talk about in this book, and you don't have to go and read stuff in Dark Crisis to understand it because they lay it out pretty well. Basically, long story short, they were on Sinestro's planet, and from what I gather, there was a friend there that Hal Jordan ended up losing. That's pretty much the general gist of it, So they mention that a lot in the book, so you don't have to just go and read Dark Crisis to get that. They lay it out pretty well here as an emotional thing that's weighing on him throughout the book. So let's start off going through the book, and I will always just compliment the artist. Oh my God, Zermanico and Scott Golden Whiskey, right? Whatever his name is, Gold Whiskey. Great artist there. They did a great job on the book. And what I also really enjoyed about the book is that most trades don't do this. Most trades kind of give you like all the variant covers like toward the very end of the book, or not at all. Like this one didn't give you anything because they gave you all the variant covers before. There was a variant cover that I bought for one of these books. I remember I was actually buying these issues for this because I was hearing so many good things about it. But I stopped at issue 5 because I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for the trade. But I remember like, man, the one where it's the Flash one. When we're there, it's the Flash team up issue that's going to be later in the book. All the art in that is so good. The cover page, there was one that I really liked for a variant cover. It was awesome. So
yeah, overall the art is very good in this book. I liked it.
Let's go over some of the story. So starts pretty typical. I would essentially read the prologue. So essentially, after what happened in Dark Crisis, the people that kind of run the Green Lantern Corps, they essentially quarantined off Earth. That's essentially what they did.
There was a United Planets type thing. There was like this United Planets Federation, and there was all these different quarantine zones, and Earth became a no trade, no on, no off zone.
Yes. And then after that, you see a typical Green Lantern thing where, someone's in trouble, he saves them, and that already puts the book in a good light because it's showing him in a heroic way. Now, the one thing that I think Jeremy Adams did very well that played out better as the book went on is that the book jumps from certain time frames to another time frame. And there is a lot of comic book writers that actually can't do that very well because when they jump from time frame to time frame, unlike what he did, which was very good, they kind of set up something, then they never reference it ever in the book ever again.
Right. They never pan out to tell you what they were
nothing. Yeah, it's just there. Right. Yeah. But what he did I can tell it happened in the later issues as well when it was going on as a run, he would tie in the stuff that he would actually set up. So makes the setup also pay off very well. So I always forget the lady's name. So essentially, Carol, who is essentially always Star Sapphire. That's essentially who she always is, right?
Who she becomes later on. Yeah. She always ends up becoming Star Sapphire. I think that started, I can't remember when it started, but I know it got popularized when Johns broke the spectrum and started doing, the different colors for the emotional spectrum, the rage.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. And I believe that came out of the Sinestro Corps War.
Well, wasn't it like black is death, white is light?
So like black is like they had the Black Hand character. He was like the representation of death. And the White Lantern was a combination of like all of the he was basically the MacGuffin. Like when everybody died in Blackest Night, he was like, oh no, we're gonna bring back the people that are important. It's like, well, what about this guy? He died too. Fuck him. He's not important. He's dead. We only brought back the people that we needed.
I think this is such a saying from DC that they imply that if you're black, you're death, and you're white is light. You know, I can get behind that. White is right, white is life, black is death, black is crime. I love it. I love it. So essentially, throughout the book, Hal and Carol have this weird love-hate relationship they kind of always have in the comic books, where essentially he has a life where he always has to go out. She's always staying on Earth. So she feels like she doesn't want to wait for him. So she goes and lives her life and finds another guy, which she did, you know, and that is also talked about as a story element in the book as well. It's just kind of referenced at the beginning part of the book. And earlier on in the book, you also see Kilowog, you know, who is a very large staple Green Lantern character you guys all know and love. He's there as like the guy where he's just kind of telling Hal to shut the hell up, tough it up, get back out.
Boozer.
God.
Yeah.
Then,
so I think with the Carol thing, which is nice, which they do. If you read like most runs, like John's run or the Green Lantern Corps run, usually it's set up like this. Like you said, Hal's away. He comes back. They try to start up their thing again. She's always like, not really, but yeah, she does want him, you know, tries to make him jealous. But I think it's more, she wants him to just be in her life, regardless if he's a lantern or not. I think it's like kind of like the Barry Allen thing, because that was big during when Barry Allen became really popular before they killed him off on Crisis. They would do the same thing. He would have those type of relationship problems where you knew they were going to get together in the end, but it was like, hey, I understand. It's like the Peter Parker thing. Well, if you knew my identity, my enemies would come after you. And it's like, well, hey, I'm not a pushover. And I think she just wants that commitment. So it was very familiar, this beginning, which I enjoyed because that character trope is prevalent in a lot of Green Lantern runs, especially with Hal. So I enjoyed that part of it.
So also earlier on in the book, you have the 1 month earlier where he's just kind of reminiscing about what happened on the said planet that we talked about earlier, which is Sinestro's home world. Then he has the Green Lantern ring, obviously, with him. Later on, there's other villain that's called Steel Fury. He's wreaking havoc. And you can tell that Jeremy Adams really is trying to portray Hal in a cool, heroic way while also keeping his personality in check. Police officer's like, you know, you can't do it. Run. Hal's like, nah, I'm good. And then it goes to a scene where he's obviously flying these drones. So later on in the story, it's revealed that the government, or let's say her organization, they think that basically flying planes, essentially as a real pilot, is outdated. So they just kind of fly them automated as like drones, right? You kind of just get in the cockpits and you just kind of fly them from a safe location while the machine is out there. So keep that in mind, everyone. So Hal's looking for a job, and she's like, hey, you should be able to keep up. But what's a really cool fake out is you don't know that they're drones initially. You think he's like, oh man, this guy just died there. No, he didn't die. It's just,
and I thought it was interesting too that if you notice that the plane colors, one was green, one was like the purplish, and one was yellow or orange, which is so at the end of Dark Crisis, whenever he had the United Planets or whatever the hell that organization is, he basically told the Owens to go fuck themselves. He was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Right. So he gave up the ring. He gave up everything. And when he comes back here, he's trying to fit in normally. He's trying to be the guy that he thinks Carol wants him to be, but he still has that hot streak in him of, I'm a flyboy, you know, that's what I do. He still has that in him, and he's trying to figure out if he can be anything else but that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very cool.
So with Steel Fury, he essentially bought a type of suit online, and then he just starts trying to attack the city, tries to attack Hal when Hal tries to, you know, confront him. And this cool scene right here where the ring starts powering up because of Hal's willpower, and then he just suits up to be Green Lantern right there. What a perfect way to open up the book. Set up, consistency, and then the consistency played out to have him be back as Green Lantern again. Perfect way.
It's cool because if you've read Green Lanterns before, the Manhunters, which were the Guardians, whenever Hal had gone rogue, and they had Parallax. I think Jeff Johns turned it into an entity, and it was like the fear entity, right? So they had the Manhunters that would go down and police the Green Lanterns. So this dude had a Manhunter suit, and how out of his sheer will, because he was about to get pummeled, conjured a ring off of the power off of that suit, which is just insane because it's like, and he even talks about it. He was like, oh, this is kind of like a new thing for him. It's like a new style of ring. He doesn't even know what the powers are completely yet. So it's kind of cool.
What's also interesting in the first issue is that you get essentially no dialogue from Sinestro. He's just in this bar and he's just he's just listening. But that's all you need is a setup, because you already know Sinestro is going to be the big villain for this first arc for Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run. And I'll be honest here, I wasn't that surprised. It's like it's Sinestro. Him and Hal have been duking it out forever. It's like you should expect him to be his first villain most of the time.
Right. And it's like you said, you really don't have to say anything, because those major villains, if say Superman as Clark Kent was in a bar, right, and like the Kryptonians like Zod or someone was hiding out, all you'd have to show is his face, and something, or a Daxamite or something like that. That's all you would have to show, and then it's like, oh, okay, something is going to happen here, and why is he here? That's the other question you should be asking, because at the end, the last time they had saw each other on Corrigar, some bad stuff went down. Yeah, and he's gonna wonder, why is he here?
So then, after the first part of the book is set up, where he's now back as Green Lantern, tries flying around, testing out his powers. There's a group called the Demolition Team. They try to.
That's hilarious.
Good Lord, man! There was that joke.
They're like the J Squad. They're not even. They're not even in the A, B, C, or D. These guys.
God!
They have a DT on their chest.
Dude, like one of them made a cringy, fucking tasteless gravesite joke, and I was like,
oh yeah,
okay, I can imagine that, trying to rob a gravesite and you make tasteless, cringy jokes that no one laughs at. Fucking hell.
Yeah, he said something about like he said, you know why the cops won't follow us here? Because they're in a graveyard, right?
Yeah.
He says, too many dead ends. Ha! And you're like
so just cheesy 70s dialogue. I love it. And then
it's perfect for the level of villain that they are. That is the perfect joke for what they are.
So Hal goes to scare them since they're in a gravesite, conjures up a bunch of ghostly constructs. Obviously, they get captured.
Which looked awesome, by the way. That splash page looked incredible.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, the double page spreads of the book were great. Like stuff like this, art like that. The page that you just showed off was great as well. Like, man, the splash pages, double page spreads were good. So
the coloring was fantastic in this too. The coloring was incredible.
You get back to the present day. Kilowog is there. He's obviously there just to give him like a pep talk, essentially. It's really just all it is. But it's some cool dialogue, because the reason why you want to be invested in this moment and the other Kilowog moments is there's something that happens with Kilowog later on in the book that we'll go over later on. So,
and before he sees Kilowog, he goes up into space. And he tries to go see how far he can go, and all of a sudden the ring turns off.
Yeah.
So he doesn't, and he's fallen back to Earth. So we don't know, is the power being restricted because it's the new ring, because he like conjured it out of nothing, or has it something to do with people not being able to get off Earth? That's what they led it to believe.
And also, to go back to an earlier thing we talked about, him, Hal, and Carol. So Carol also mentions that since he was away, she has a new boyfriend or fiance. Yes, but she's kind of iffy on it, because that's how it happens with girls. They're in love with someone else, maybe secretly. It's how this stuff always goes. Not just comic books, TV as well. They like the other guy, but he's the guy that they can't really be with because he's always doing stuff. So they give it another guy who's supposed to be the stable guy, the guy that's always going to be there for them. But they don't want to be with that stable guy. They kind of, in theory, want to be with the guy that's the hero of the story. So it's weird. how the dialogue is like, he says they're fiancés, but she says that she just says they're like boyfriends.
She's like, this is my boyfriend. He's like, fiance.
Yes. I was gonna be like, yeah, is this girl for the streets?
He said he wasn't having that, man. He was not. He's like, what? What'd you say, Carol? What? So I'm your fiance, woman.
Hal and I forget her boyfriend's name is Nathan. Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan.
So Nathan and Hal meet each other. They get on a plane because Carol has to go somewhere and she wanted Hal with her for I forgot what reason, but she needed her with him because that's just how girls need men. They just need comfort.
Actually, what it was Hal. He got hired then fired in the same day. So he goes to get this job and he's talking to one of the guys there and his car service is gone. So he drives the dude to where he needs to go. And it's the guy who runs the airline that they're taking because she owns Ferris Air. And I think they were taking like a private jet. And he's like, oh, by the way, here's my awesome resume. Can I please fly your planes? You know, and he's like, yeah, sure. So whenever she shows up, she's like, why are you here? What are you doing here?
This man is just trying to insert himself into her life constantly. Good Lord. I'm glad you brought that up because I'll be honest here. I genuinely forgot. I thought he was just there because she wanted him there as like, hey, now I have to just blow you when he's not looking. I can't trust women, man. I'm traumatized. So after that, they board this plane with Carol, Hal, the boyfriend, fiance, and the other guy. And it comes to a point where it's, how would I say this? The fiance tries to move the plane up and away where, or it's Hal did it.
It's basically like the captain is talking to him and he's like, hey, they're getting kind of cozy back there. We should turn the camera off. And Hal's like, yes, we should.
Oh yeah.
Plane, so it messes up their little cozy moment.
It was Hal because I thought Hal. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought Hal was next to her, but I was like, wait a minute, that wouldn't make any sense. He wants to find the plane, so he ends up getting a spill on his shirt. He goes to the bathroom to wash it off. Hal ends up talking.
That's
to
when
Carol
Hal makes his move. Yeah, that's when Hal makes his move. He's like, I will see if our customers are okay.
At that point, she just like take off her shirt, show me them tits, and let's go. But we didn't get that because my brain is degenerate, and Jeremy Adams is better than that. He didn't write that, but you should.
I mean, he could, it could be on the extended edition, maybe. That'd be nice.
So after that, the plane starts getting attacked by demons, monsters.
Yeah, it looks like ghost monsters. That's what it looks like because there's like skeletons. Most of them that are flying, there's some on like horses, but all of them are like dead. They look dead. They're skeletal in nature. And then that's when you're like, you throw up your hands because you're like, wait a minute here. First we saw Hal do the thing in the graveyard, and now all of a sudden it's real and in front of them.
Yes.
So you're like, wait, what?
So after that, issue 2 is over. So if you were probably buying these as floppies, you probably didn't get this because you just probably went to issue 3. So the reason why I would recommend not buying back issues for this specific series and why I would recommend getting this is because if you buy them back issues, you potentially leave out not reading the Night Terror issues 1 and 2 that they have in here. And the reason why those are included and they're very important is because you later on for issues 3, 4, 5, and 6, they all culminate together. So definitely get this instead of back issues. I'm telling you, it's definitely worth the buy.
And I can attest because I'm still buying the floppies of this run, and when I read it, I was like, wait a minute. I know I was like, isn't this the setup from something? I didn't remember what it was, right?
Yeah.
And then whenever it said Night Terrors, I was like, oh, that's what it was. That fucking 9,000 book thing that was ridiculous. But I actually, like I said, in the context of this run, these fit in perfectly.
Yeah. So now you get away from the, because it's weird to say it's getting away from him because he actually wrote one of the first Night Terror issues. So you get into the Night Terror issue 1 that he himself wrote. Art just so good. So now you get into this demon. So the villain of the Night Terror series, I imagine it might be the same for the other ones, is a villain named Insomnia. So mysterious and deadly new villain named Insomnia has struck. The entire world has been forced into eternal slumber, including all the heroes and villains as Insomnia. The searches for their dreams and for the Nightmare Stone. Can the heroes survive being trapped within their darkest fears? So the reason why this plays out so much better with Hal is because he obviously is a lantern that's based around willpower. He doesn't do fear. That's why Sinestro is a counter to him, because he's obviously powered by fear, a direct counter to just willpower as an actual thing. So it sets up so beautifully. I mean, I'll say this, outside of the Flash issue in here, man, this is the best issue in here by far. The setup,
the art is phenomenal too.
So
the
good,
art is
man.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And it plays right into it, because it's like he's on the plane, everything comes at him, and then all of a sudden it's like bloop, you're plopped right into this story, which when you find out what it actually is, you're like, okay, I get it now. Like, that makes sense. Because without it, you're just going to be like, what happened here? That's what I thought anyway. And they did a very good job.
Yeah.
With Night Terrors, there were so many issues, like the Joker issues. I don't know if you got to read any of those.
That's also weirdly redundant in of itself. What would the Joker be scared of when this villain would try to? That's
he ended up becoming a regular office worker. Like he had people in his office.
So basically, he would be scared that he would just be an irrelevant 9-to-5 worker, essentially.
Yeah, he basically would go there and then he'd come home, eat his TV dinner, and he was one of the few people I think that got 3 issues, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was there was a lot of bad, but this one was actually good in my opinion.
To start off with Hal Jordan's Night Terror, which I think, like I said earlier, is the best issue of the book. Start off with him at his dad's funeral, but he knows there's something up, because throughout the book, he inner monologues to himself, which I think is good, because that's good for a character like Hal, because he's always constantly trying to think on the fly. He's always trying to think of the next thing to say. Then after you get away from the funeral moment, the demon Insomnia comes out, basically like his dad and other family members in his mind, because remember, this villain has infected his mind. Then you get to a Carol moment where she's sweet and tender, but he knows better, because that's not the way she is currently to him right now. Oh, look at that. Just an awesome double page spread.
That is sick.
She ends up having him, where he ends up flying this plane that she tells him to do. And then it's basically recreating his origin story, and then obviously everyone knows the origin story of the lantern that came to Earth. And he was dying, so he gave him the ring.
Yeah, Abin Sur. Yep.
Yeah, but that's not this time around. That is not Abin Sur. That's not. That is Insomnia. He convinces Hal to take the ring from him, and then Hal is just being infected with almost dying. I guess it's weirdly not dying because it's not real, but it's to play on him that he is dying. So,
well, it is in the sense of, so in the Night Terror thing, there were these stones, these night stones. So the things that were happening to them, they could die. They could die in their in their dreams or something. And I can't remember everything because it was so many issues and I didn't read them all. But there was Superman had to grab one or something. I can't remember. There was something with the stones and Insomnia.
Damn DC.
Without them,
big events. Fucking hell.
It was just too many, and they came out 1 week. It was here's 11 new books, and then the next week here's 12 more, and you're like, I can't keep up with this. But it was cool because they get into what I liked about this too is whenever they always get into Hal Jordan betraying the Green Lantern Corps because of what happened in Emerald Twilight, which was in the 90s. But what I loved was they always show the Guardians because he has a very bad relationship with most of them except for maybe Ganthet. And I love how these 2 pages right here, particularly where they show the whole Corps is looking at him and they have the Guardians right there standing in front of the battery. And he's just totally taken aback. And he's always having to prove himself as if what he did before was not really him. And I like how they do this because he's realizing in his brain, okay, something is messed up here. This is not right.
And what I liked is that they went through all the very important pieces of his life. Obviously, having the dealing with his dad's death. Then you had the strained relationship with Carol, the origin story mixed in with the nightmare. Then you had the nightmare moment of the Guardians, like you said. Then after that, he's like, wait a minute, I don't believe you. So he has a moment where he tries to attack them. Obviously, Insomnia fights him back. Great battle they have here on these on just so far this part of the story, and he continues to battle Insomnia to the point where Insomnia tries to look like Hal right there, and then Hal's like, wait a minute, I can actually beat you if I just focus on my willpower, and that will be a counter to you. So he ends up starting to overpower Insomnia right here, and then after that, he hits him out, and he starts to control the actual realm that he's in. So apparently he's in some sort of different realm right now that Insomnia is controlling. So he's now fully basically just taken over. So he's scaring Insomnia to the point now where he's running away, and then basically toward the end of it, he gets the betterment of Insomnia, eventually does beat him, and then he gets control of the plane. So that's Night Terror issue 1. That's the one of the little mini tie-in stories there. Oh my god!
Yeah, and Insomnia goes through the whole gambit of like parallax. Like here's the entity, and then on the next page, they actually brought back, which I thought was cool. They brought back the actual right here.
Oh, that
great Twilight Hal as parallax. That was really cool. So he was playing on all his fears, trying to. And then he obviously, like you said, it was a very good book to have because overcoming the fear is the willpower. And that's kind of, if you have a nightmare, obviously, you know, perfect tie-in, in my opinion.
So after that, what I also noticed here is that Insomnia was trying to be like, I guess you could say, a different version of Sinestro with the whole fear thing right there. I thought that was a cool little notice detail there. But what also you said is true, and then he ends up beating the other demons that he had in his mind earlier on in the nightmare as well. As we said earlier, the nightmare is over. He defeats Insomnia, gets out of that. But then now the setup that Jeremy Adams did, being part of the book, finally starts to play out. So essentially, this one is Insomnia infects Sinestro's mind because Sinestro's ring can't work, as we figure out later on in the book. So with this one, because this one's easy to really get, and to be fair, this one wasn't a surprise to me. I could easily see a world where Sinestro would fall to that as a villain. Because they're not even really like differently aligned though, because they both essentially, Sinestro does everything he does through fear. This villain literally is a Night Terror. So essentially, Night Terror ends up fusing inside of Sinestro's mind, essentially, and gives him a new found way and will to see where he wants to be as a villain. Now, keep in mind, this is the questions that I had initially. It's nothing against Jeremy Adams. Is when he's fully fused with Insomnia, you get this picture right here where it's like, you start to wonder, because Hal questioned this later on the book too. It's like, is that really Sinestro, or is that Insomnia taking over, or is it a mixture of both? That's the question there, and I like that as a mystery though, because you could tell if you know Sinestro, he would give into that, even though he was not giving into it earlier on in his own nightmare.
Well, I think I think when you know what is happening to Sinestro, he would give into something if he knew that the ends would justify his means. That's the only thing that you could think of, because his problem that he has in this book is a very particular problem, and he is looking for power.
And after that, we start getting into the next issue, which is issue 3 of the book. And you can tell now you have Hal set up as a character. He's back as Green Lantern. Then after that, you now have Sinestro fully set up. My God, I love going through some of these variant covers, man. The variant covers, if you guys weren't buying the single issues when this was going initially, man, you missed out on some awesome variant covers. The artists were really going out for the series. So Night Terror is over. Hal Jordan as a character now is fully set up. Sinestro's fully set up as the main villain of the story. Hal starts having a little bit of fun with the animals. He makes the deer like really, really big.
Yeah. So this takes off right from where he was falling from space, which is cool because that was something he set up earlier and we didn't see what happened. So this is right whenever he was falling from space and like, oh crap, I got to get this ring to work. And he finally pulls it out like right at the end and starts messing with the ring, like seeing what its powers are. Cause he's like, if I was able to do this closer to Earth, is this more of like an earthbound ring? Is there a radius of power that I can't pass? So what is exactly happening here with this particular ring?
So after Sinestro's setup, we get Sinestro actually trying to, recruit more villains so he could easily tell if a villain was in disguise, which I thought was actually a nice choice to do, because if you're already going to set up him right there, you might as well, at that point, convince the reader of the book what he's actually capable of, and he's able to convince them to follow his cause.
And it's the Lalarans too, which is funny.
Yeah.
They're so vague. There was like, there was one called like Sayard or something like that, and it was like right before Crisis on Infinite Earths. So that's how long that's been. And I think that dude only had like 12 to 15 appearances, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, you are so old. God damn it.
I know. I am.
So after that, Sinestro ends up attacking the same place that Carol obviously works for, and he ends up going after like a lot of the workers there. Police end up getting involved. They end up getting pretty much killed. And then Sinestro blows a part of the bottom of the ground out so we can get to the next part. And that's where the next portion comes in. So Hal is having some fun. He wants the kid to, get his willpower back. So he serves him a ball on easy mode to have the kid hit a home run so he could look like the hero. It's like, okay, I got what Hal was doing. I get it. But that kid got to earn that. He can't just be giving him the freest balls ever.
Well, I mean, he did preface that, the kid was a loser pretty much, and everybody was making fun of him. So maybe he just felt bad for a second. Get his confidence back.
Kilowog is also there as well. So keep that in mind. These Kilowog appearances will definitely play in later on. Kid hits a home run. Obviously, he looks like the hero. And then Carol, it's like, I need to speak to you, Hal. She tells him that Sinestro attacked her place of work. And, she's like, hey, if he's back, you got to kind of deal with this guy. And Hal's like, yeah, okay, I'll go deal with that guy. So then Hal is at a bar. Sinestro appears in front of him.
This is fantastic. I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, perfect. Man, the setup and the dialogue and the tension and the atmosphere is just so good. Oh my goodness. So you get into what's crazy, my second favorite issue of the book, which is issue 4, when he teamed up with my boy Barry Allen, which is my favorite Flash. I love my boy Barry Allen. But at this point in the story, Sinestro's like, hey, give me your ring. Essentially, he's like, give me your ring, or I'm going to blow up all these places right now. And Hal's like, nah, I'm not doing it. So then Sinestro leaves, and he's like, you know what?
Do it, but he says it's not going to work. He says, he goes, here, take it. And it's not going to work. And he puts it on. He's like, what is this, Hal Jordan? What is this ring? And he's like, it's new. I made it. Like,
yeah, because it's crazy. It's not like he didn't initially give it to him, because he did initially bluff him in their conversation initially. And then he's like, it's not going to work. And Sinestro's like, you know what? Yeah, actually, it's crazy. I have bombs everywhere, and they're going to go off, and a bunch of people are going to die. And then Hal's like, you know what? I can't do this by myself. Calls in my boy Flash, Barry Allen. So people don't know. The reason why I like this kind of stuff in comics, not just even because of just comics in general, I like when certain writers can utilize other characters for their books. Sometimes if a character can't do something, there's no reason why another one can't appear and help them. There's absolutely no reason why they can. I personally think it shouldn't just be World's Finest, should be just Batman and Superman. There's other characters that can be World's Finest as well. Green Lantern, Flash, sign me up for a pair of them. No reason why you can't utilize them.
They actually used to have a Green Lantern, Green Arrow book.
I remember that one
back in the day. And they've done a ton of Hal Jordan, Barry Allen. So that like grouping of 3, that's why I always say Green Lantern was very important in the team realm, because he has 2 kind of major players. Flash is a major player. Green Arrow, people either love him or they don't care. So, but I like Green Arrow, and I think teaming him up, especially with Barry Allen, the Barry Allen Hal Jordan team is always awesome, in my opinion. I love whenever they get together because it always means something cool is going to happen.
Throughout the book, when it comes to this point in the story, you also have an interesting dynamic with Barry and Hal. Great chemistry there. You know, Barry definitely tries to look into like what is Sinestro doing, but he doesn't do it as a Flash. Hal specifically says, "Hey, I need you to do this as Barry Allen."
Barry Allen.
You know, because it's crazy. A lot of people don't actually know this. Some of the people that have secret identities actually have like usefulness there too. You know.
Well,
Barry's,
Barry's he does with the crime scene investigation,
forensic science, something like that. Yeah.
He works for the police department, so he was able to tell. Like he said, because they said like none of the merchandise was missing, like none of the planes, none of anything, but there was a big plasma hole in the wall and in the ground. But then Barry was able to tell, like, hey, they did something to these drones, these planes.
Yeah,
they did something. He doesn't know what it is, and he's like, you got to get this looked at. So that was kind of cool.
Also, when they were diffusing the bombs and getting them away from people, teamwork was great. I love this page right here. That's awesome, right there. Awesome. Look at that. Team up, teamwork. That's what comic books needs to be. Teamwork, fun.
Yes.
Not this depressing bullshit they're having a lot of these characters go through in there, sucking dick too. How about we get some fun?
Their feelings.
Freaking fun back. Like this. This is what I'm talking about.
It's perfect because there's a big giant problem. There's bombs all over the place. Barry's going high speed, picking them off, and Hal's, he throws them up and Hal's detonating them, taking care of them. That's perfect. That's a perfect example of like a team up.
So then after that, Barry and Hal team up again to defeat another villain. But the main important part of it is their conversation that they have on top of this roof, where Barry says basically, "Why is Carol not with someone that's not you?" And he's like, "You know what? Yeah, you're right. I'll work on it." Another just best moment right there to kind of tie everything in. Then Barry goes off back to where he's from, and then you get to the final arc of the story currently so far. Sinestro obviously revealing himself to the world again. So all of those drones that he was trying to actually get earlier in the story, which he did, he essentially wants to use those drones to go to certain places and explode with bombs in them to cause a lot of people to get scared and have, what did we say earlier? Fear. To activate his reign. That's what he wanted. So it's really hard to trace these drones later on. So Hal Jordan figures out a way to do it, and he can actually pinpoint where the drones are. Later on, he does end up confronting Sinestro later on in the book after he spanned two constructs that were able to stop the other two. So guys, I'll say this right now, a big giant plane bomb going off in Russia. Yeah, Mr. Vladimir Putin would not be pretty much happy about that if it came from the US. That would literally cause World War III.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be good.
It wouldn't be very good at all. So Hal ended up, stopping those two. So that was Sinestro's plan initially up front, was to basically have a bunch of drones where they could remote control them and blow up and destroy things and cause a bunch of people to be scared, and he would get his fear back. But then remember earlier on in Night Terror's issue 2 that they had in this book, this trade right here, was that if you notice right here, that's not yellow. He's actually some sort of like weird reddish lantern from Insomnia. So, which goes into the later final part of the story so far currently is basically, they have a big giant fight together of constructs. That's essentially it. Guys. Oh, Lord, man. So they have a big giant fight, and Hal ends up coming out on top, but Sinestro ends up leaving to go back to that planet that he wanted to go back to. So it's essentially...
He wanted to go back home. And what happened...
Krogar.
When Hal Jordan thwarted his plan, and he's talking to him, and he's like, I stopped it. The reason why humans have never been conquered is because of courage. We have the courage to overcome fear. And he's like, that's fine, Jordan, but you filled me with rage. And he became a Red Lantern, which is, we all know is headed up by Atrocitus, the man,
Yeah.
the myth, the eater of faces. And
Also,
they're just like
the other thing you mentioned.
Group.
Also, the other thing you mentioned earlier in the book plays out where Hal tries to catch him, but he can't because he kind of realizes, wait a minute, if I go this far, I'm going to end up powering out. And
yes,
Sinestro knows that. So that's the biggest question right there before we get to the other big reveal, which is Insomnia controlling this guy? Is Insomnia working for someone? It's just, okay.
So I think, I in my opinion, because I think those two issues singularly were tied into here. I'm pretty sure that it's just Sinestro. He absorbed the rage, and they built it up that kind of how Jordan was able to use his willpower to absorb the Owen energy off of that armor. So I think it's just Sinestro at this point.
Yeah,
like where we're at here. But they leave it open to what is he actually doing?
Yeah, because Hal does say the emotional spectrum is kind of all out of whack, and then we get to the moment that you wanted to talk about because remember those Kilowog? Is it Kilowog or Kilowog? I also forget it.
Kilowog.
So Kilowog's moments in the book all add up to this little twist here. So Hal goes back to that trailer that he's been going back to periodically throughout this first part of the run. And then another character shows up.
Yes.
Another character shows up. And then Hal says this last line of the story where you're at for this trade, which is, Razor, Kilowog is dead. And it's my fault. So Kilowog was never there.
He was just a construct
the entire time. And then it ends. That's it. That's the first end of the trade.
Definitely Shyamalanian.
No, God. Shyamalan. Oh, God, don't do it to me, man. What did Hal do? It's all his fault. Kilowog died.
Yep.
And he lost that friend on Krogar. He let Sinestro get away. But
I think that's who it is, who the friend was on Krogar. I think that they were all fighting. Something happened there. And I can't remember if it was before this or if they play it up as after this. I know the Kilowog dying was definitely told in this. I don't believe we saw it before this. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. But I don't believe so. I think that was the big reveal of, because he's sitting there. Yeah, he's sitting there and he's like, Razor comes down. He's like, I came down here to see one of my good friends, but now I find him talking to a construct of Kilowog. And he's like, well, Razor, Kilowog's dead. It's my fault. And that's how and it was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was for 6 issues. It covered a lot of ground, and the 2 extra Night Terror issues. It's definitely worth the value, because I think I had, like I said, I have the single issues, but since since we were talking about this, I ordered this just like 2 days ago, and I think it was only like $13.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember? I don't know if you do. At the same time this one came out, they released the Hot Girl one, which let's be honest here, no one bought that one. They released the Titans initial one with Tom Taylor, and then you had the Shazam one, which was written by Mark Waid, and the Green Lantern one was the one that everyone kept talking about. The Shazam one, I think, is people's second best one if you go back and hear the reception of it. But man, this book right here, Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1 and Transformers Transport into Oblivion Volume 2. These books right here are my favorite reads of 2025 so far. Oh my goodness. Oh, holy shit, this was so good. If you guys are Green Lanterns fans, rejoice.
Even if you're not, it's a story that's able to be.
Yeah.
It's a story that's able to be, like I said, it reminded me of the Johns run, because it was like when I had read a ton of Green Lantern stuff, but I never really got into his single issues until I read the Johns run, because people were like, you got to read it. It's like they change a lot of things, and this is how the Green Lanterns are going forward. And I tell people, like my buddies, whenever they ask, like, what's a good comic to start on or something like that, I always say, here, read this. And every single one of them that read it liked it. So it just reminds me that it's easy to read and it's not hard to understand. And it's, very self-contained. which is great. But
Yeah.
if you've read other things, it does pay those off with little nice Easter eggs for fans there too.
I will say, if you've seen Green Lantern like I did in animated form, so I saw him obviously in the Justice League War, the DCU animated universe. That was like that Flashpoint Paradox universe. He made a lot of appearances in that.
Yeah.
And there was another one that I didn't mention earlier, but I'll mention it right now, which was the Justice League Doom animated movie. It was great in that one as well. Like, even if you have just a little bit of exposure to the animated versions of Hal Jordan, you'll easily get down with his appearances here because it's mostly the same, except just a little bit more better written, a lot more cohesive, paced better. I'll be honest here. This is what that 2011 Green Lantern movie, if you can go back in time, should have been, honestly. But then again, that would have been too much even for that one because this is a lot in here. But man, if they ever do another solo Green Lantern movie, hopefully they take after this run because this run was so fucking good. And this only 6 issues so far, guys. This is, as I said earlier, this collects issues 1 through 6 and the 2 Night Terror issues, which all come together in this nice big package. So, what are your closing thoughts and statements on Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1, sir?
I recommend it.
Yep.
I mean, there's
a little bias there. He's wearing the Green Lantern hoodie.
I know. I recommend it just because it's like I said, it's something easy to read. It was not complicated at all. But if you have read a lot of DC, you will catch a lot of little things that are in there. And I think that Adams understands the character. That's the main part. You get his stuff with Barry Allen, you get his stuff with Sinestro, you get his stuff with Carol, but you also get the emotional ties to what happened after Dark Crisis, to what is going on right now, all the way up to what would be now All In. But for Dawn of DC, I thought Green Lantern and Green Arrow were some of the best books that came out of Dawn of DC.
I just got an idea in my head. It's crazy because I am such a genius. But don't worry, guys. That is inner monologuing because Hal Jordan did it. I can do it too. But for me, overall, guys, I would say just an amazing book. Everything I like about comics is there. Obviously, what you said, I'll just kind of tackle on that as well. And I agree. The personal relationships made the book so much better. Those heartfelt moments, with Barry, Carol, Kilowog to some extent, barring the, reveal, which makes the reveal even hurt more because it was just not even there. He was only doing it to basically compensate to have him there.
This shows how hurt he is.
Yeah. The Night Terror issue 1 that was in there was just, oh my God, the art in that was just so fucking good.
It was so good, man.
Shit, that was good. And it's a perfect portrayal of how a Night Terror thing should be in someone's mind. But yeah, can't wait to actually eventually read Volume 2 when it drops later on this year in 2025. I would say this is one of my favorite books I've read in 2025 so far. But yeah, Jeremy Adams, you got my stamp of approval. Yep. I can't really. I don't really have a. What does Nearman Condition do? It's like that certified thing he does. Whatever, man. I don't have a slogan here, man.
I do. Certified fresh.
Certified banger. There you go. Yep. Jeremy Adams, Green Lantern, Back in Action Volume 1. This is certified banger. And I would also give a certified banger to Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers Volume 2 as well, and Volume 1. It was so fucking good. But yes, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. All right. Take one little quick breather, and we'll go on to the next topic. You having fun, sir?
Yeah.
Good. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna go over some comic book sales. All right. So I saw this on Screen Rant. So let's see if they actually start shilling for the industry. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Good gosh,
well, whatever the way that popularity is going, Screen Rant will be right behind there,
fucking
licking the nuts of whatever.
That's pretty descriptive, sir.
I paint a picture. Good
gosh. Let's see what we got here. DC gains ground as Marvel's market shares dip. Okay. 1 second here. This one from 4 days ago. Okay, let me make sure it's not the same one. Okay. Stu. Let's not blow my back out. It's not Tuesday. Black Lightning. Holy fuck. Okay, so I had the right one. Oh, you mentioned Green Arrow. We should review the Joshua Williamson Green Arrow trade. Yeah, I had the Joshua Williamson Green Arrow trade over there.
It's fantastic.
So, I'll put this up, but oh my god, just I could lick this if I wanted to. But I'm kind of gay. I'll put you right here. So yeah, we will. So for next week, as you guys know, because I just thought of it in my head literally during the review, we'll review Volume 1 for Joshua Williamson's run on Green Arrow. So I think that one's issues 1 through 5, I think, actually.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll say you don't even have to get the trade if you don't want to. You just get the.
I probably will buy it anyway.
It's just easier collected, honestly.
It is.
Green Arrow Omnibus. Oh, I know you said you like Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're making this coming up very soon. It's coming out this month, actually. I don't know if you heard of it. Did you? You haven't checked into the DC's Finest line, have you?
No, okay. So after you told me about it, whenever I
looked into
ordered that, I did look into
good, isn't it?
DC Finest stuff. I'm gonna get some of them.
Green Arrow's coming out for a lot of people. I know his older stuff is hard to come by, so DC's Finest Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. They didn't say how many. 600 pages. Holy fucking shit! God damn. That's
decent. That's decent.
That's decent size. Yeah, they usually say what issues it covers on Amazon too. Because I know on most of these they do, but the DC's Finest one, there's so much they probably haven't updated it yet. Yeah. There's so much on these. There's so many tie-ins, so much stuff on here. They need to put the section right here for DC's Finest. We have to just fucking look these up most of the time. Let's see. When is Volume 2 for that one coming out? Green Lantern. Let's see. I have to get that. This I need. That you're talking about the book from Dennis O'Neil, the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Traveling Heroes.
Yeah, they've done that. They had a couple of other ones too. But yeah, the Denny O'Neil one is fantastic.
This is the one that Savage Dad has. He always tells me to get it. The Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, Rising Compendium.
If that's the start of whenever that he starts, then yes, that's fantastic.
Ooh,
yeah, it is.
You recommend this? Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the read.
I have this.
Like when Kyle Rayner became a Green Lantern, a lot of people were kind of put off by Hal Jordan because it was a lot of the same constructs, a lot of the same things, and then you had Kyle Rayner, who was an artist, and all of his constructs were different. They were all like, it was like a whole new thing, kind of like that when the 50s, like the 40s and 50s happened, and they brought in, Barry Allen. They stopped with Jay Garrick, and they kind of went a new direction, and that's whenever Hal Jordan became really popular.
Ooh, it comes out next month. Oh my god, it comes up 3 days before sign me up. Covers issues just one. Okay, so no backup issues this time around. It's just issues 7 through 12. So no spoilers because I haven't gone through that. I'm waiting for my trade. For Absolute Power. So Marvel had Blood Hunt. DC had Absolute Power. There was one tie-in issue. I think it's Ground Zero. Yeah, I was buying these. I don't know why I stopped. They said the trade was coming out fairly soon, so I stopped getting the single issues, and I was like, "What?
What did you think? Did you like Absolute Power?"
I didn't. They told me the trade was coming out so soon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you just said that.
Oh god, and it's a lie. Absolute Power ended in like July. We've been waiting for months for this shit. Oh god, I hate people. I will never listen to people ever again. I did know one spoiler. I think they said Barry Allen retired and Wally West is the Justice League Flash. Is that true?
So I've only read I don't know if he retired. I don't think he retired. I know Wally West. So basically the Justice League, they did kind of like the show, the Justice League Unlimited. There's like a whole network of people there. There's tons of different heroes. It's not just like here's your 7 people. I can't remember. I did not read all of Absolute Power, so I don't know if he retired or not.
Let's see. They said a lot of events ended up happening. The stuff in Joshua Williamson realm that got affected by it. I mean, which it should. I mean, big events should have stuff like that. I think they need to collect big events like that in books like that. Also, not even just books like that. If you're gonna have an event like that, they should have the tie-ins all there. You should just not even do. Essentially, that's just gonna be a big a hardcover
kind of like
trade.
this one. Like this, they put all the tie-ins on this one. In the King in Black, I just finished reading this, and they had a ton of tie-ins in this one. So it was like the whole event.
Well, you didn't get the Venom books?
I got this one first because I had read a bunch of Donny Cates Venom as it was coming out.
Oh, okay.
And I never read the King in Black. Well, I'll definitely get the Venom omnibus. I'll get the Venom bus.
Yeah, because that one is where they said it would be first. So I was like, I'll just get the Venom books first. And they said the Absolute Carnage is next. And I was like, what if on the King in Black omnibus, when I get it, I just read King in Inward? Whew! Wouldn't that be just self-hating? I love it. No, but I agree with you. I think if you're going to do that, it should be an omnibus or a compendium for all those tie-ins, because...
Or do it how they did the Batman Nightfall. Like, those ones were, like, they were paperback, but they were thick, man. They were like 900 pages. Like, put everything in there. Just put it all in there. Make it 2 or 3 if you have to, if you're not going to do an omnibus. Because I know sometimes doing omnibuses, people don't want to pay.
They've been doing more compendiums, so the fans have been kind of, if you go on like Reddit, stuff like that, they're like, why are we getting so many compendiums? I mean, people don't understand making omnibuses costs a lot of money.
Yes.
I like compendiums. I have no issues with them. I don't have if it's a choice between a few less omnibuses and more collected editions of compendiums, I'll take the more collected editions of compendiums first.
Yes, they're much easier to read and much more practical, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, all right, guys. Ready to have some fun? No?
I'm always down for fun.
It's just not Tuesday yet. Oh, gosh. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Okay. Let me reply one more message to this person and we can go. Oh, good Lord. I hate women just be talking, man. Holy crap. Okay. Let me just send a GIF. Let me just let's do handshake. Just a firm handshake. All I'm gonna send is just a firm handshake. That's it. No worries. Oh, right. This is the right one. Oh yeah, it's the right one. Perfect. Perfectamente.
Perfect.
Right. Wait a minute. We haven't gotten a Captain Falcon game or a Star Fox game in forever. Yeah, because they didn't sell as well as Donkey Kong or Mario. The Switch 2 got announced.
I know the Switch 2 got announced. I saw that.
Yeah, you got to get your 7-year-old a Switch 2 for Christmas this year.
I'll just buy it the day it comes out.
Yeah, I was thinking, do I get it? Because then I have a Switch OLED. So it's like, isn't that just good enough? But it's
supposedly. So if the leaks were correct with the size and what it was supposed to be, if the leaks are correct on the inner workings of it, it's basically like a portable PS4. That's what it's like. So the graphics will still be better. Apparently the docking bay is supposed to be able to render the 720p up to 4K. But I mean, the main thing is it's backwards compatible, which is nice.
But didn't they say a few games won't? But that's fine. If it's like if it's like 98% backwards compatible, that's fine. You know,
they just need to do more. I mean, I can't really say what they need to do because the Switch outsold everything. So I can't really tell Nintendo what to do. But I really wanted to see, like, after I played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I was like a little bit disappointed, not in the whole game, but like I already played that world, for a lot of hours. And for Zelda, I wanted something bigger. Like, there was only like 4 bosses, and it's like, They need to do something better in next generation too.
The hardware needs to improve too, because they shouldn't really be having hardware issues. Not saying issues. The hardware should be much better if you're getting a system like that. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit better, but I think a lot of people are kind of overselling it. It's Nintendo. Their hardware is usually the weakest proponent of their system. It's the reason why you usually get a Nintendo system is because just the games themselves just more than make up for the hardware, the lack of hardware. I think it'll be on the basis of a weak Steam Deck. I think that's where it'll be at. That's being generous.
That makes sense.
Maybe a PS4. Like maybe that's being generous too. Hopefully it'll be on the level of a PS5 for hardware, but that's just me being.
It's not going to be. No,
yeah,
it won't be. It's too for it being that small. It won't be. It can't be.
Yeah, man.
There's too much.
Too much
going on in there.
All right. Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about comic book sales. So I don't think I've actually did a video on the channel talking about comic book sales, because back in the day they used to release the numbers for how much comic books actually would get bought for and how many units were actually sold. Wait a minute, my brain's not working, guys. I'm black.
I was raised in a broken and abusive household.
This chicken is cold.
Oh, God. I'll never not laugh at that one. That one is always too funny. How does a woman make... How do you feel at making chicken?
This chicken is cold.
Next time your wife makes some chicken cold, just in your mind, think of that. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's have some fun. Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about comic book sales. So I actually have not did a video on this channel, Master Swag King Comics and Manga, about actual comic book sales, because the average person doesn't actually even know what is the general mechanism of how comic books are even sold. They think like you go into a comic book shop and you buy an issue and then the shop gets a cut, and like the distributor that they think like Marvel or DC would get a cut, and it's like, guys, it's not how that works at all. So essentially this is how it works. There's the actual people that make the comics, then there's the distributors, then there's the shops that buy from the distributors to get the books from the actual people that make the books. And then they make the books, they ship them to the distributors, and then the distributors ship them to the stores that bought them. Okay, see how that works there, right? So essentially, everything is kind of already paid for, right? So when people go like, well, why don't Marvel and DC ever improve? Why would they need to? They're already getting paid up front. Don't got really shit to improve on if you're really looking at it from that point of view, but they should, because the comic book shops, the retailers, are the ones that hurt the most, because if they can't sell the actual product, then that's where shit starts to hit the fan, obviously. So a lot of people don't know this, and I bring this up because it just goes to show you how kind of fucked things are. So like, why is Marvel and DC or any of the big publishers, Image and all these other people at Dark Horse, why are they going through a middleman? If I'm a shop, why can't I just order from you and you just give me my shit? But this whole middleman system is it's so beyond cringe. I think it's just so dumb. It's so outdated, but it is what it is. I just want to let you guys know that because that's why I always say to people, make sure you support your local comic book shop, because you'll have people that'll go like, hey, I'll just get my issues, but hey, I didn't get paid this week, but when I will get paid, I'll have to like cancel my pull list. And it's like, you know those books are already paid for, right? Now your shop owner is just stuck with some books he probably can't sell. Like there's people that'll cancel getting their books like last minute. It's like, hey, if you don't understand if you don't really know where your finances are going to be, pull out earlier, don't just cancel last minute and just stick someone with the book, So, oh my God, my brain fried again.
Oh, Uncle, it's you.
Nelly, is that you?
Nigga, I thought you was a burglar. A big, fat, funky, nasty, stinky, black, one-eyed motherfucking burglar. Why the fuck didn't you knock, nigga, you raggedy son of a bitch?
All right. Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about comic book sales. So I have never did a video on my comic channel talking about comic book sales because the average person does not know how the industry actually works. So long story short, you have, how would I say this? We'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll go 4 because we're like the fourth people. You have the person that makes the books. Then you have the person that distributes the books. And then you have the person that buys the books. And then you have you, random poor motherfucker. I'll just call you that, So essentially, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, Boom, IDW, they make the books. Distributors get the books that the retailers order. And the distributors give you, your local comic book stores, their books, right? So you going in there and buying a Spider-Man comic doesn't get Marvel anything. So when people go, why don't Marvel and DC ever want to improve? Well, they're already getting paid up front. Remember, the distributors, they get the stuff from them. So they're paying Marvel and DC up front, right? The people that get really fucked over are the shop owners that essentially get, like, let's say, damaged products, right? Or they get left with products that people can't pay for when, like, the economy's bad and maybe they weren't making as much money. So someone will be like, hey, I can't keep this book on my pullets anymore, but that book's already been paid for. Now you just stuck your shop with, a fucking book that they potentially can't sell because newer comics are way harder to sell than, let's say, back issues. So DC recently launched their Absolute Universe, which you've been reading some of the books, actually. People don't know. Started with the Absolute Power event. Then after that, you had the DC All-In Special #1. Then after that, they released Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. So that, in and of itself, has bumped up DC comic book sales. Now, keep in mind, when I say sales, it's not people physically buying the said books. There is a big difference there. So when you see, like, on ICV2, you'll see, like, Absolute Batman #1. Let's say, hypothetically, right? That's not people walking in stores and all, like, buying that shit. Keep in mind what I just said earlier. Books are already paid for, okay? So that's shops ordering from the retailers, okay? That's what's happening, right? So this is just the culmination of the books that are doing well that shops are actually, buying for. So as you can say right there, that middleman system is very, very bad. That you can tell that is definitely not good, as we just had Diamond, a longtime Monopoly distributor, essentially filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So we're going to go over this. So DC essentially kind of like had to do that Absolute Universe thing because before it, they weren't even getting books in the top 10. There was a few months there, their books weren't even like 10. That's not good. That's bad. Now, this right here is what a lot of people don't also understand as well, is this hopefully can last very long. I would say this. Hopefully this can last a good amount of time for DC to have a sales spike, because if this ever goes down, that's not a good thing, because, well, what are they going to do? They already essentially did Dawn of DC recently, and now they're in All In. Like, what's else past All In? Marvel just constantly keeps rebooting after 12 issues. They'll reboot back to #1. Iron Man rebooted back to #1 recently. Scarlet Witch, how many reboots she's been through? I can't even tell you.
Yeah. That's
Deadpool, how many? 5, 6, 7, 8 reboots here. They killed Deadpool off. They replaced him with his daughter. So why the fuck would I ever even buy that ever again? That's not Deadpool. So what about you, man? when it comes to like the comic book sales kind of arguments?
Well, to me, it's like I said, it's basically what's in demand. So like if your comic book shop gets like 100 or like 50, absolute Batmans, and they sell out real quick and there's more people coming in to ask for it, then they know to get more. But the problem is when you're constantly redoing number ones, people think like, oh, I got to get this because it's a number one, and they might be
Speculators.
worth something.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but when you do that and other people like older comic fans are like, well, are they rebooting or are they just starting over again and keeping the same continuity? Because that's big for older comic book fans. They want the same continuity. They want to exist in the same world. Now with DC, one of their biggest flaws is the constantly rebooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big ones, like the New 52, even though I still thought there was some decent stuff in the New 52.
Decent stuff in there, right? Yeah.
And I thought they did well with Rebirth, but then they like drop it, and it's like, why didn't you just keep going? Like,
and they try to do their, because people don't even understand this, dude. They tried to do this Ultimate Marvel Universe for a while. They did like Earth 1, what wasn't Future State supposed to be a version of that starting, but whenever it would lose traction as far as like sales, they would just stop it. They would just stop it completely. So this is the first time they fully went in on that Ultimate Marvel Universe they've always kind of wanted to do. Now, I understand. I think
because all the other ones were not connected. That was the thing. All the other ones they tried to be, but they weren't. At least when we got the All-In special, we know that these three, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, at some point they're gonna conflict with the main universe. They have to.
Yeah. So
it's gonna happen. So that might also be getting people into it to see what happens, because they're not changing the continuity of the main universe. Mm-hmm. They're just starting a new one. So that might drive people to get them. But I think also whenever you don't have like, a surefire way of knowing what is selling comparatively to what is actually being read.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of problems right there too, because as we just highlighted earlier with what I told you about how the industry works, everyone. So if we even get to where you're saying all these people are buying these books, are they buying them and reading them? I'll be honest with you, dude, I don't think they are. Given how we know conversations go on the internet, I know people aren't reading them books.
Oh yeah, Wikipedia warriors is what I call them.
Right? I think people are literally just buying for the art. That's it.
Some of them probably, some of them buying for a collection.
People are always so surprised at dialogue. Like recently, there was this like Jenny Sparks book that Tom King was writing, and everyone one was so surprised that Jenny Sparks was yelling at Superman about like the C-19 pandemic. And it's like, I'll be honest here, was anybody even reading that book at all? Or you? So I imagine you would be surprised at some horrible dialogue like that. Yeah, no one reading that shit. It's probably the only recognition it ever had outside of like maybe some number one bump in sales,
Yeah, and they also need to keep creative teams that want to write for that book. That's a big one. Like, they screwed up with a few people, like when they brought Bendis over,
that's what I like that they did with for the All-In initiative. They just kind of swapped creative teams. They didn't just start rebooting. And that's the thing is they said they weren't going to reboot stuff with All-In, but they're going to end up rebooting Batman and Superman back to number ones. It's like, I thought we weren't doing reboots anymore. They literally said it was the big flagship of this one's like, hey, no reboots. It's a continuation. We're just getting different writing teams. And I've always been a big proponent of that too. Yeah, if a run's not going so good, or the people are kind of tired and it's stale, swap creative teams. You can swap teams. I'm not going to restart the entire thing.
Yeah, you can always write yourself out, and leave something open for someone else to come and take over.
Yeah, and like you just said there, it hurts the fans because, like, let's say me and you, we buy the floppies. I love when it gets to be a longer and longer thing because I'm really invested. And then, now you're at issue like 30. I've been buying all 30 issues. Number one. So what I just invested into doesn't matter as far as like numbering, because those numbers mean something. I told you this. The reason why the numbers mean something is because that's the investment of time invested into money, reading the character, giving that character your time. So what I really hated that DC did before the Dawn of DC initiative, The Flash was at 800 issues. Do you know how long it takes to get someone to a milestone like that? You know what? Yeah. Number one. They just rebooted a character that 800 issues.
And then they were doing that thing. It's number one, but the legacy number is 802.
So
and then
cringe.
it's like, no, dude, just say it's, say what it is. Yeah. There's a reason why Action Comics 1000, was a big deal. And it had a whole bunch of writers and a whole bunch of artists and a whole bunch of, it's because holy crap, you made it to 1,000.
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
The Flash guys was at 800. I will never forgive DC for that. My boy, the Flash. I love the Flash. 800 issues.
I don't understand why I don't understand what it is. I don't know that. I'm wondering because DC being owned, in the movie realm with Warner Brothers, and they are notoriously known for making horrible decisions. And I don't know if that trickles down, because it's shown that like Jim Lee, as cool as an artist as he is not a good president of a company. Yeah. He's just not.
I said this on some of these videos too. What does Jim Lee do? Like, what does he do? He DC
draws a panel every few.
Yeah, he's coming back for Hush 2, which is Batman issue 158, and he got DC away from Diamond as a distributor.
Yeah, and the fact that like when I was really like I wanted the Zdarsky run to work, you know what I mean?
I did.
And man, when they brought back Batman Zur-En-Arrh, and I was just like, oh god damn it, like no, please,
gosh.
And like Batman was in space and he was like not being frozen and dying and he was doing all this stuff. I'm like, what is happening?
His run yet? I'm still gonna get it in trade. There's some panels that I've seen people talk about where apparently like they're writing runs now where they want Bruce to hate that he's rich. Like, what the fuck is that? That's so cringe.
Like, yeah. So they took everything away from him. It was so depressing for so long, right? They took like all his money away. And there was actually a scene where like all that Gotham War, was it like Catwoman versus Batman, right? Like all the people were against him, and like he was like kicking the shit out of all his proteges, telling him how wrong they were. But like it was like, dude, you were completely wrong. Like there's one standard besides Superman, right? There's one standard in DC Comics. If Dick Grayson tells you like you're fucking up, dude, then you're probably fucking up.
Yep.
And no, Batman was like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like it's like, dude, what am I reading? Yeah, and it took me off. Yeah. I stopped reading. It's the first time in man, I have not read.
Even you have a breaking point, man. Good lord, yeah.
I have not read Batman, like the regular Batman series, in a long time.
DC Comics gains ground as Marvel's market share dipped last quarter. DC Comics is officially gaining ground while its market share rising as Marvel's share dips once again. What's even more compelling is that this isn't just a general shift in the comic market. It's a direct transfer of power. I wouldn't say so. It's more like a direct bullshit way of DC going like, hey, our mainline stuff really wasn't hitting. Let's just make a whole new universe. It's literally what they did.
Well, I also think, though, that holding out the Justice League, because I thought, just like in if you watch my Dark Crisis videos, and I hate to keep bringing this up,
shameless
but like
plugging, I love it.
Yes. And right here in Pennsylvania, no, when they held the Justice League out and they didn't just bring him back like 2 weeks later, and they did the Titans run, which was not good. It was not good in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Try to replace fucking Justice League with Titans. That's such an L.
And they even brought it up. They were like, even in the book we just read.
Yeah, we did.
Like when they had that conversation with Hal and Barry's, like, and the Titans are keep kicking it down, keeping it real.
Well, the league's out of commission.
Like, well, the league's out of commission. And so when they brought the Justice League back, and they brought them back with the Trinity, but they also brought in all of those heroes you saw from the show. When they did it from the actual Justice League Unlimited show, and they have this story where it's like Booster Gold was like the main guy in the first issue, It was like telling the Justice League story through his eyes. So it's reminiscent of the show. I think that brings in a lot of the fans that are, say, in like your age to like 30s to 40s, like that watched that, and they can grasp towards it. Now, if they just brought it back and it was like some of the teams that we had from the 90s, which were just like before Grant Morrison came back, it was like, what is this? What is this? Why are the Justice League suck? Why are they garbage? And I think doing that would also sell books because people would read that. They'll want to see that because that's something that's nostalgic to them. And I think that was a big thing for them, having that book come out at the right time and doing a lot of things like fell into place. A lot of small dominoes.
Absolute Batman got a lot of good word of mouth. Absolute Wonder Woman had a lot of good word of mouth.
And a bunch of Marvel books not being as good at the time. Like I like Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love Jonathan Hickman, but when you saw all those teams, all those guys that were writing for Marvel are now writing for DC, you're like,
well, it's mostly like outside of Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, Ultimate Black Panther issue #1 had a huge boost in sales, but that ended up falling off after a little bit of time. Most of their Ultimate line has not been, I would say, as talked about outside of Spider-Man. Like most of it
that's what I'm saying. Like, so it was a perfect time for DC for those dominoes to fall in that order, because a lot of the big books that we're bringing back the Ultimate Universe. You guys remember the Ultimates, and you remember this and this and this, and it just, Ultimate Spider-Man did well and the Ultimate Invasion did well, but it was also written by Hickman. So like
recently now they have to put out Ultimate Wolverine. I wonder what other prominent Ultimate characters they have to lay out there to get them.
That's what I mean. And there's certain teams that were legacy teams that were Marvel, and now they're writing for DC, and it's like, does that mean anything? I don't know. The Comicscape has changed so much from whenever I was a kid and to now. It's so crazy because, one, there's so much stuff. It's oversaturated.
Way oversaturated.
And like, it started with the New 52. We're gonna have 52 books. Like, fuck, dude. No, just, can you do like 12 really good ones? Even if Green Lantern and Green Arrow and they gotta team up together, or the Flash has his book, and then these people come in. Can you write really solid books? Like, that's the major key, is and people not knowing how to get into it. That's a massive problem.
It's a direct transfer of power, with DC capitalizing on Marvel's losses. This development is particularly noteworthy, signaling a dramatic shift in the industry's dynamics that could reshape the competitive landscape. Marvel Comics took a significant hit in Q4 2024, with its market share dropping from 39.9% in Q3 to 33%. Meanwhile, DC Comics saw a nearly equivalent rise in market share and is now sitting at 26.9%, suggesting that Marvel's loss became DC's gain. So people look at the market shares here. Oh, this is all true. Maybe they just made this shit up. But to be honest here, how the fuck is Image now outperforming these two with Jeff Johns' Ghost Machine currently? I don't know.
I don't know. That's the other thing, man. Like, it's like, do we really know what? That comes into the problem of distribution. It comes into a massive problem of distribution. If you're a company, right, that has literally a movie studio company behind it, how come you can't distribute your own shit?
Yeah. And keep in mind, numbers for comic book shops are always disingenuous, because when people found out how things really worked, it's like, no, those weren't like sales. Those are unit sales. That's units, the retailer ordering shit. So I could still imagine that DC and Marvel are on top of Image being this low. That's scary. Because if this is, let's say hypothetically this is true, Boom Studios might not be long for the world, because they just rebooted Power Rangers. Their long running Power Rangers series they had since 2017 rebooted.
I thought the original one was great. I like it.
What does Dark Horse have now that anyone?
I don't even.
Besides the prints of manga that they have, like the Berserk Omnis they have.
Do I know what Dark Horse had whenever I was a kid? They had Prince Valiant. That's what they had. So like,
IDW has Sonic, TMNT.
Yeah, I know they have Sonic because my younger son, every night before he goes to bed, we read a chapter of. I bought a
base gun you got. I had those comics too.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of them.
So like IDW has Sonic, Star Trek, TMNT. They had Transformers, but they lost it to Image. Even with Image Comics right now, with the G.I. Joe Transformers initiative, that's not enough to bump them up. Interestingly, the combined market share of the two comic book giants remained steady at around 60%, further emphasizing a direct shift between the two publishing juggernauts, with Marvel's loss becoming DC's gain. This marks the second consecutive quarter where the gap between Marvel and DC has narrowed, signaling a potential shift in the industry's dynamics. Lies. To put
that doesn't seem right.
No way. To put the market share into perspective, back in January 2024, Marvel held a dominant 36% market share, while DC sat at 23%. That gave Marvel a 13-point lead. Fast forward to January 2025, and that 13-point lead has shrunk just 6 points. A significant shift in DC's favor. This marks the second consecutive quarter where the gap between Marvel and DC has narrowed, indicating a clear shift in the industry. But what's driving this change? The answer lies in DC's newest strategy. One likely cause for DC's gain in the market share is the launch for their All-In initiative, which introduced the Absolute Universe. The last quarter's report on market share coincided closely with the unveiling of the initiative, making it likely that this launch is a key factor behind the change in market share. That's the only thing they have right now.
But that's disingenuous, though, because if the books were shit, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. So what they're saying essentially is that it's just a gimmick. All they can do to rise and be like there essentially to keep the sales going is just gimmick. That's all it is,
right?
Essentially.
But it is. But the books themselves are good, though, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think they're good. Mm-hmm. Because if they were shit, you could introduce a new universe that's like, this will directly affect everything in the main line, and if it's garbage, nobody cares.
Yep.
But they happen to be good, and when the teams were announced, I think that because that made it kind of big. You bring because you had Scott Snyder back to Batman,
Nick Dragotta on Absolute Batman, Jason Aaron, decently okay name, it's on Superman, Kelly Thompson. Of course we're gonna put a girl on Wonder Woman. We're gonna be
but they also picked the right one though. In my opinion, I
should have had Tom King, man. I heard he's doing great on his Wonder Woman run currently. Furthermore, the January quarter report now reflects the Absolute Universe after it has gained significant momentum, with multiple issues of Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman now released. In short, it's the All-In initiative and the Absolute Universe that came with it. It seems to be driving DC's rise in market share. Also, I have this one. They have the Amalgam Omnibus out now too. I have to eventually get that, but DC did collaborate with Marvel for a DC versus Marvel omnibus. That was these were supposed to come out way earlier in the year, and they got massively delayed.
And I think if they would just stop being so ridiculous, because in the 90s it was great, like that. You got those collaborations. They need more
crossovers. Yeah, because right now currently so DC's doing it. DC is doing a big one with Sonic coming up in March. We heard about that one. That one I'm really, 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 really excited about.
And they did the Batman Ninja Turtles a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
That
Marvel's doing another event with Godzilla. So they are doing a little bit more crossovers than they used to.
But it needs to be the major two. It needs to be the major two again. Because I remember they had fans could vote Wolverine was going to fight Lobo, or this was going to fight, and you could vote in the back of your comic and clip it out and send it in. And they just don't do stuff like that anymore. It's nowhere near as interactive because everything is done digitally. And it's with the digital age and everything is right here, right now, now, there's no anticipation for anything.
With the market share gap narrowing for the second consecutive quarter between DC and Marvel, and with such a dramatic shift in how many points Marvel is leading by, there will undoubtedly be high anticipation for the next quarter's report. This will help solidify whether DC is on track to potentially overtake Marvel in the comic sector. Okay. I mean, even if they do, it's only for a short period. If these books at any point fall off, guys, there's a reason why it's called All-In. There's a specific reason for that. They're all in. Yeah, this is all they got left. What else they got after this?
Well, here's where the next part that you're going to read. This is where it could mess up.
Additionally, DC is set to release more Absolute titles. These I have heard about, including Absolute Flash. That cover art looks so good. The cover art on that one looks like absolute trash.
But when is Martian Manhunter books ever did anything?
It's crazy. He's so popular from the Justice League animated cartoons, but it's just from the cartoons. People don't know Martian Manhunter's comics don't sell well at all. He actually has not had a consistent run almost ever. Last thing he's had was 2012, from what I remember.
It's just he just doesn't. He's another one that's great on a team, but
by himself, no. Absolute Green Lantern. Oh Lord, these releases could further help DC gain ground in the market share, potentially causing Marvel to slip even further.
I could see Absolute Flash and
Flash
Absolute
doing
Green
great.
Lantern, doing. Because there's so many different Dark Sector, there's so many different Green Lantern iterations. So they wouldn't be making any of those if they didn't at least think they could sell.
I got no hope for Absolute Manager. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it would be awesome if it was the best one. That would be the most hilarious.
It's just the design. Have people seen the design on it? It looks like shit. It looks so.
It's not.
You can't convince me to buy that. That is like, I maybe might buy this in a trade if I see it on Amazon on sale. I'm not kidding. I would never buy that.
I'll be curious. I'll
curious
be
to buy it in a
curious.
trade. Like, if you bought it on sale at $5 from a Walmart bin, that's where I would probably accept it from. You don't get that in floppy format.
No, I'm definitely not getting it in floppy format.
Because you know what's crazy? They didn't mention this in the article. Flash is going to be an ongoing series. Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter, from what I remember, are going to be miniseries, 6-part.
Are they going to be like 5 or 6? Okay,
probably 6-part. 5.
That's a normal arc, like a 6.
Yeah, because they want to gauge the sales. Because if you guys don't follow Scott Snyder on Twitter, he always talks about, hey, if you guys are buying the book, we make more of the book. So if there's so they'll know at 6 issues if there's interest there.
If there's demand for the supply, they'll know. 6 is good because that's the round number of any comic, arc. They'll know. Right. The only time that they'll go even further if there's something like a superior idea that takes a little while to progress. But even then, if the sales aren't there and nobody gives a shit, that's the biggest thing. People, you have to care about it. If nobody cares about it, then it's the same thing with television. Everybody talks about like we consume television differently, and this is that. It's like, well, tell the NFL that, because the NFL has something people want to watch, so people fucking watch it live. It's the same. If you have something that people want to see or read or do, they will go out of their way to do all of those things.
Yeah, and the shop sales reflect that. If the shops are constantly ordering more, and we know this is true based off the reprints, the Absolute books, those noir editions that you guys ended up getting, if the sales are there, you're going to get more books. And that's the other thing I'm glad at least maybe there's somewhat taking notice of. If you have to kind of gauge if there's people buying it to make it a worthwhile reason to keep chugging the story forward, because too many times they both do this. We're like, this shit's way over. They'll get to any character will have this. We're like, it'll get to like issue 16, 17, and you're like, I'm just here. I don't even know why I'm here anymore. How about we just take it slow? That's the Absolute Universe needs to do. Just keep it kind of small right now. Expanding to all these other characters outside of this is a little too much.
It's a risk.
It's a risk. Yeah.
It's a risk, especially if it comes out before those original arcs on those 3 are done. Because then it gets diluted and not special. And if they start showing like Flash or the Martian Manhunters, let's be honest, that's the gamble. That's the gamble out of all of those, because the other characters are established and they've sold and things like that. But if they put those books out and like Wonder Woman's only on issue 5 and hasn't completed its arc,
because
you're going to take away sales from that. If someone's like, well, I could get that later, or I'll wait for the trade, or I'll wait for this, or what, because
it's crazy. That is also why DC could be, I guess you could say, gaining market share. They didn't mention it, which I think is very disingenuous. DC recently came out with their new, you could say, their epic collections, their DC Finest line, which is Hopefully, we'll know from the known numbers after this month concludes how well they're selling, actually, because we'll know from ICV2. And they also have been doing the DC Compact Comics, their manga-sized books as well. That's probably a major reason why their sales bumped up. They're literally essentially reprinting older stories in new collected editions and manga-sized format, which is a great. I like those ideas. Those are great. Those are amazing ideas. Those are awesome ideas.
If they still count towards original floppies, or then I don't know how the numbers are gauged.
Yeah, because that's
do they take trades into effect? I don't know.
Yeah. So, what is your closing thoughts and opinions on comic book sales? Do you think this lasts for DC, or do you think it's going to end at some point?
It's going to have to end at some point. But the main issue is they have to get their main 3 back on track. They have to. Like when the Trinity is not doing well in some form, some shape or form, then the whole line suffers. So they're gonna have to get like I said, Zdarsky's Batman. I mean, great writer. He did Daredevil. It was cool, but like it is not, to me, it is not working on the legacy Batman. And that's like, should be, yes, focus on Absolute because it's selling and it's doing that, but there is that other universe that it needs to interact with, that has to do something with each other. And if this book sucks a bunch of dicks, then nobody cares. That's the biggest thing. Nobody cares.
How many dicks did it suck, though? That's the thing.
Well, a full satchel of Richards. I don't know what comes in, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Oh, God. Good Lord. But yes, DC, you are doing great work. I would say right now, currently with the Absolute Universe. I'll give you credit for that. Luckily turned over. Imagine if that was a disaster. That would be just burn the company down. Just burn it down. Actually, let's just quit it all. Let's just burn it down. Absolute Universe luckily turned out pretty good for a lot of people. I love the idea of the DC's Finest line. I would just kind of prefer if we could start at the very beginning of a lot of the characters' run and just kind of work way up, like the way Marvel did with their epic collections. Like start it from the way Superman was, the way Superman, the first superhero, the DC Finest book I have over there. It starts from Action Comics number 1 and goes to number 20. Yeah, just build it up in order, because what's the biggest problem with comic book fans? They say, I can't follow stuff in order. It's all out of whack. Whatever. It's okay. Great idea, but just that I had a problem with. And you have the Compact Comics, which are a good idea too. So I give DC credit for those.
And if you're going to start new fans, like it might be a little bit hard for them to start at like the old Action Comics or
those are jarring.
They are. Yeah. Like I do that Batman series on my channel that literally starts from Detective Comics 27, and it's freaking hilarious in my opinion. Start from the Bronze Age. Yeah. Start from the Aparo, Jim Starlin era. Start from there, because that's easily relatable, and you could see where the character was to where it is now. You could see that growth, and not have to make it so hard, because like everybody sees on Reddit, hey, I'm trying to get into Batman. What should I read?
Start?
Oh, you start with Dark Victory, and then you should start with this, and this. And they're like, all right, fuck it. I don't want to read Batman. Bye. Like, you know what I mean?
It's also the money aspect as well, because people like me and you will buy comics no matter what. That's what we do. But a lot of people don't know if they want to invest that much into something initially up front. That's why I always just recommend one book that I think is going to get someone in, and that's it. It's not that big of an investment if you're going to be spending like $20. I think everyone's going to. If you don't have $20, you should be buying comic books then, because you're all broke.
You don't have poor motherfucker. Then you shouldn't have even been asking the question.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully Deep Sea. Oh my God, I can't talk tonight. Sorry, guys. Hopefully DC keeps up this bump in sales. I hope they reprint more good Finest collections that I'll still be buying them. Actually, I just don't like one little aspect about them, but it's okay. The idea is great. And then the Compact Comics idea, whoever made that idea, good job. Good job. I'll give you a fist bump. There you go. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King. We're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. You ready for one last banger?
Yep.
Oh God. There's so much explaining you gotta do with this because people don't know, man. Oh, good lord. It's okay. It's okay, guys. I'm here to be your big daddy. I'm here to explain it all to you. I'll be your encyclopedia. All right. Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a brand new Superman ongoing comic book series. So there is the Action Comics series going on right now, and then you also have the Superman series going on as well. And then you have the other like Superman adjacent related books going on, as with Batman and Superman, and even characters like Spider-Man, or even characters like X-Men. They always have like the mainline books, and you have these like other adjacent books that run along with them. So as far as Superman, for a lot of you guys who don't know this, because people have to kind of really remember this, Action Comics is where like this all began. Action Comics #1 with, you know, Superman creators, right? They have struggled to actually get Superman some decent writers on Action Comics, okay? So basically, after the Brian Michael Bendis fiasco that Last Comic Fan absolutely hated that they did, after that, they got Philip Kennedy Johnson to do Superman War World. After he was done, because they had no plan after he was done, they were like, okay, who wants to do it now? So then they created this weird initiative where they called it Superman All-Stars, where they grab like random people to do like 3-issue arcs. Then after that, they get you out. So Jason Aaron did it recently with fantastic art from Dan Mora. Then they had an arc with Gail Simone. Then after that, they were like, whoa. We got to just do like House of Brainiac, tie it in with the other Superman issues. Let's go there. So then after that, Action Comics was now being written weekly by Mark Waid, because that's when DC All In came in. So he's been writing Action Comics weekly for a while at this point, and then they just swapped him out for another guy because they wanted it to be a weekly thing. But as far as the Superman book, you had Joshua Williamson that's had his run on Superman. A lot of people really, really like it, which is good actually. But as you know, Joshua Williamson is going to be more focused on the All In portion of DC right now, because we saw the video where he was talking to Scott Snyder, and you know, they really want him to be working on the DC All-In books now. So
yeah, they were spreading him thin, man.
He was writing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Guys, he was writing stuff for fucking hell. Image, Skybound for the G.I. Joe stuff. He was writing on Green Arrow. He was on Batman and Robin. He was on Superman. Guys, was on everything. So I truly believe they need to stop doing that with people. Stop spreading at least the very few talented people left on so many books. Says, hey, I don't like Mark Waid at all. I think he's a fucking loser, but his writing's good. I like his writing, obviously. But
yeah, he's done some good. He's done some really cool things.
Yeah, but even someone like him, outside of politics side, it's like you can't spread him that thin. Imagine putting someone on 6 books to write weekly. Even I couldn't do that. They keep the creative juice flowing.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's why they need to. It's funny how whenever we are just talking about comic book sales, whenever something is not working, they're like, you know what we should do? Make more. That's what we should do. Fuck making good ones. We'll just make like 70 kind of okay to shitty ones. That'll solve the problem.
And if that doesn't work, reboot that shit.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, we'll just fucking reboot it. And who cares? It'll be great. Like, so, no.
We covered this on the channel as well. So, Superman and Batman, just those books, not Action Comics, not Detective Comics. Because the reason why I bring up Action Comics is to tell you guys this. They can't get a consistent good writer on Action Comics. That would be anyone's dream. Imagine that. That should be anyone's dream. I could write on Superman. That's fucking great. But no, they can't. So
not only just Superman, Action Comics.
Yeah, just started the entire thing. So hopefully this new guy they have writing Action Comics weekly, hopefully that can be a person that they can have consistently. So they burn that guy out. I forgot the guy's name, but hopefully he doesn't get burnt out. But on Superman, Joshua Williamson is going to be done writing the book eventually. So they're going to end up rebooting it. Who are they going to choose? Oh, you guys are going to love this choice. It's something with DC and taking Marvel's sloppy seconds. It's like, hypothetically speaking, if you weren't married, you know, hypothetically, and we were at a bar and you blew this bitch's back out one night. And you know what? I go there and you're not there because you're at work or whatever. And I go there and I'm like, hey, yo, dog, it's that girl. You fucking clapped her cheeks. Can I have her too? And you're like, Dude, fist bump, bro. Yeah. That's what DC does to Marvel. They take all their fucking sloppy seconds. I'm sorry. They do. Guys, I'm not shitting you. The guy that wrote Superior Spider-Man is going to be Superman writer. You're like, isn't that Dan Slott?
Good old
Dan
Danny
Slott. That's big old fucking Dan Slott. So here we go. Superman Unlimited announced marking in my butt. I'm kidding, guys. I'm joking. Superman Unlimited announced marking one of DC's biggest series in ages. Don't they already have the fucking Superman All-Stars right now? What's happening with that? Oh, fucking hell, DC. Jesus Christ. In a development, sure to get fans talking. Talking is an understatement. Comic book icon. Okay, I can't take that seriously.
Well, I mean, it is Screen Rant. You know, they're pretty loose.
He's an icon of being fucking fat. I'll give him that. Comic book icon Dan Slott is coming to DC Comics to helm new Superman series. DC Comics has revealed an initiative that focuses on the publisher's greatest hero. Their initiative recently is the All-Star. How many Superman initiatives do we have to have? Can I just get one? So keep in mind, I don't know this either because I said this earlier. I don't know if Joshua Williamson is going to be off of Superman or is this going to be a whole new different Superman series. I don't know that. I was just assuming.
So this is what I would think. I would think that this would be separate because I'm wondering, because they're calling it the Summer of Superman and not the book title, but the whole project because we get the movie coming out. I'm wondering if this is going to be loosely based in the world of what the movie is. I don't know.
Probably not from comics. Yeah.
Who knows? Or it's like they're gonna draw it to look like, you know, Corn Sweat or whatever his name is.
Oh crap! Holy crap! I will say this cover art looks very good. I don't know who the artist is yet, but that looks really, really good. Except for this. This was kind of janky, but this was cool right there. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
DC Comics has revealed an initiative that focuses on the publisher's greatest hero. And at the center of it all is a new ongoing poised to take the Man of Steel into a groundbreaking new era. DC Comics just announced Superman Unlimited, a new comic by Dan Slott and Raphael Albuquerque.
What an unfortunate last name.
Good Lord. The new series is set to bring a number of huge changes to Clark Kent's world, namely an influx of green kryptonite brought to the Earth by an asteroid. Oh, great. Good job, DC. So innovative. So new.
I know, right? How much of this damn planet is left? Like, so good Lord.
This is going to be a new oh my God. The reboot is with Dan Slott and oh, fucking hell. Wait, pay Joshua Williamson whatever you have, DC. Please, he better not be stopping his run for this one. But there's no way. Are they gonna seriously run his run and this one together?
Well, dude, I mean, back in the 90s, they had like 5 different Superman books. And I remember whenever they did the Death of Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they did the Death of Superman, and the next month Superman books came out, and I was everybody was like, "What? I thought he was dead. What is there left?" And you got like Bibbo Babowski's adventures, and you know Jimmy Olsen, that type of stuff. How they were all sad about Superman, but it's like DC is not adverse to having 4, Batman titles, or you know what I mean? Like, look how many they have right now. There's so many Batman titles.
Batman. What about Jason Aaron? Because he's on Absolute Superman right now. Jason Aaron did a Batman run. It was called Batman Offworld. You guys haven't heard of it because it was the fucking 4th issue's been delayed for like 20 years. I'm not kidding. Oh, Lord, man.
Yeah, Offworld was kind of crazy.
With the Earth more full of kryptonite than it has ever been, Intergang emerges under new leadership, and they've armed themselves with a bevy of kryptonite augmented weaponry. Danger now lurks around every corner, and if Superman wants any chance to survive this new normal, he's going to have to forge new tactics and new alliances. It was only a few months ago that DC All In began, and the initiative has been full, non-stop twists and unexpected developments. In Superman's corner of the DC universe, his life has been full of surprises. Not only did Clark venture into the Phantom Zone, allowing him to travel to Krypton's past, but he's also been an integral part of the recently revived Justice League. No shit, he should be. It's fucking Superman. And that's not even getting into how his relationship with Lois has changed now that she's become
my
Superwoman.
God, that I did not care for.
Yeah, for you people to know, Lois Lane is Superwoman now. Not Supergirl, not Power Girl. She's Superwoman.
And they do, of course, it's like, Lois Lane, that go-get-'em reporter. She takes no sass from anybody. She's just rushing in and fighting stuff. And he's like, hey, we don't really know what your powers are like yet. You might want to settle down. She's like, Clark, there's a story in there, and I'm going to get it because I'm Lois Lane and I'm Superwoman now. So shut up. And it's like, God, so
one of the things that I didn't care that Joshua Williamson did from when I found out, I was like, Josh, come on. You was hitting the crack pipe. Oh, okay, dude. You got to calm down, bro. Once in a while, we cook and shit burns.
Maybe that's what we were wondering what Jim Lee does. Maybe that's the shit that he does.
He just hits a crack pipe?
No, he's like, you have to make Lois Lane Superwoman.
No, he isn't doing work. We know he's doing crack. Work, Jim Lee. You're crazy. What the hell?
Maybe we were wondering what he does. Maybe that's why whenever weird shit happens in comics and you're like coming out of left field, maybe that's what he did. He's just like, I think you need to make Lois Lane Superwoman now. Yeah, that's a fucking great idea.
Hell yeah. Sounds great. Bumping sales. Or how there's a new or how there's a Superman variant in the Absolute Universe who's coming into his own. Those developments aside, prepare for more changes to come. DC's announcement for Superman Unlimited noted that this summer would begin its epic Summer of Superman initiative. Another initiative. Holy fuck. Aside from the influx of kryptonite, that's their newest word. But back in the day, it was 52, multiple Earths. Then it was at one point rebirth. We're just so destroyed now. We must. Are you like Jesus or something? Y'all focus on some weird shit at this company.
I remember whenever I read Crisis on 2 Earths. Then it was like infinite fucking Earths, and then it was 52 of them. Like Jesus.
At one point earlier this year, they're all focused on this word absolute. Like, company focused on the weirdest shit unimaginable.
Oh, it was really hard to understand too was when they did the Rebirth initiative, but there was already Green Lantern Rebirth and Flash Rebirth that wasn't part of Rebirth. That's like just
double rebirth.
Stop using the same word for everything. Just stop it, please.
That's why I'm confused with this. They literally have a Superman All-Star initiative. Then they have Joshua Williamson Superman. Then, coming up this year, they're going to have a Summer of Superman. Then they have Action Comics going on, too. You know what also includes Superman? World's Fucking Finest.
Yeah, which is actually, I like that book. I've liked that
about
for a while. Yeah.
I got to go over that eventually. Aside from the influx of kryptonite, a merger is going to be taking the Daily Planet global, with Lois Lane serving as editor-in-chief of the media empire. Who still has a newspaper? Whatever. It's okay. From Gotham to Gorilla City, and aided by the goddaughter of King Solivar, the Daily Planet's reach will extend all over the DC's universe. Superman Unlimited promises a lot of big things for the Man of Steel, but how much of it will be for the better? Yeah, we're asking the same question. I agree with that.
So here's a question, right?
No.
So when Lois Lane is Superwoman,
like that.
Yeah. When she's Superwoman, she doesn't really have her Clark Kent has the glasses. They have to know it's Lois Lane, right? Like they have to know that it's her.
No, she needs to get a boob job.
And if
make
she's
her tits bigger so they don't
married to Clark Kent and they're kind of just looking at him for just 2 seconds, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you're Superman."
You know what's crazy? How that wouldn't work as a concept? Hey, Lois is running the Daily Planet. So if she
just
ever
flies
leaves,
around and takes interviews.
If she ever leaves, they'll be like, where is Lois at? It's so stupid. Good Lord, DC. Fucking hell, man. Superman's no stranger to kryptonite, and even has a few dedicated rogues that utilize it frequently. Metallo, the Kryptonite Man. Oh, so innovative, DC. The Kryptonite Man. Fuck me. Can't what to his superpower is. But things are going to get a lot more complicated when anyone can suddenly procure kryptonite weaponry. Even a small sliver can do serious damage to Clark or any Kryptonian. And if a huge influx suddenly comes to Earth, that's going to force Superman to completely rethink how he fights crime. If he's not careful, Superman could easily be taken down by a single bullet tipped with kryptonite. Of course, he's got a lot of assets on his side, such as the dramatically expanded Justice League and now the new Global Daily Planet. And the now Global Daily Planet. But the announcement for Superman Unlimited makes it clear that it's ushering in a new chapter for the Man of Steel's life, and it's going to take some time for Superman to get used to this unbelievable new normal. A special prelude will be available in DC All In 2025, Free Comic Book Day Special Edition #1 on May 3rd, 2025, and Superman Unlimited #1 will be available on May 21st, 2025 from DC Comics.
I don't even know what to say.
It's speechless. They really got me. Like, hey, Ralph Albuquerque, from the art that I've seen so far, looks okay. Looks fine, I guess. I have no hope in Dan Slott writing a good story. I'm sorry. I haven't really read through Superior Spider-Man, but I've watched like videos of explaining. It's not terrible, but it's not like
Superior Spider-Man is okay. It's just the premise. The premise is where it gets.
They just want to swap out Peter so bad for someone else's Spider-Man. It's like,
that's the thing. Like it never really works because people want Peter Parker. It's just what it is. And like, why couldn't they just say like, hey, we're gonna do something that coincides with the movie coming up, and we're gonna do like a comic book initiative
because they know at this point there's no way for it to work, man. They both of them know this. They know that they try. I mean, I would say they really tried, but they know that they can't make a comic that correlates to the movie because no one's gonna care for it. They tried to do.
Well, I'm not saying it has to do it with the movie. I'm just saying it comes out like in the same
like a prelude
line.
comic, right?
Not even. It doesn't have to necessarily go along with the actual premise of the movie. It could just be that character that we're getting in the movie doing his version of Superman, like him doing something with it. But this sounds like it's a whole other. Like it's a whole nother thing. Like, and it's like, dude, no. And Dan Slott, no. Like, why?
Guys, I know what happens in Superior Spider-Man. It's like that, man, fucking hell, that guy is going to be writing Superman. So, I will just say this before we end this video. I don't know if they're ending Joshua Williamson's run on Superman or they're going to continue that along with Superman Unlimited, along with the other Superman Initiative All-Stars thing they got going on there. They got Action Comics going on. There's so much of the Man of Steel. And I love Superman, guys, I do, but you have one initiative, one guy already doing Superman, then you have another big one. It's fucking hell. How many Superman stories can we create about kryptonite at this point for it just becomes so just mundane? Can we just have one story do it? One?
Can we just get good stories?
How about just do it all in Action Comics? Fucking hell.
I mean, Action Comics coming out once a week. You might as well.
Yeah, literally, you can make it. Sorry, you can make it literally twice a week. Why do we have to have just all these? Whatever. It's okay. It's okay. I like Superman. I just hope Dan Slott does the best. But what's your closing thoughts and opinions on Superman Unlimited getting announced? You're like,
I don't have high hopes for it. I'll just say that I just don't.
You're like ecstatic. I can see it.
It was just it was another Superman book, and I was like, kind of just like, oh. And then whenever I read and it said Dan Slott, I even went, oh. So I was not. I hope it's good. Like I hope every comic is good. Like, but I just this reeks of stupid. This just reeks of stupid to me.
It just reeks of just oversaturation for no reason. We already have all this stuff going on right now with Superman. Why do we need this? And first of all, if you're gonna do this, why don't you do it with Joshua Williamson then? Why can't his adventures? Why can't he just go to be Superman Unlimited?
Well, that's why I said, like how I said DC makes some of the stupidest decisions. It's like, dude, you're doing good. Focus on the thing that you're doing good right now. Stop going all over the place. You know,
good old DC always just randomly doing the most retarded things possible and then wondering, why didn't this work? Or was retarded just from concept alone. The fact that someone made this up as a concept and went, man, dude, that sounds great, dog. Great.
I know, right? At the pitch meeting, they were like, let me give you something. Superman is on Earth and there's a bunch of kryptonite.
You know what? There's a meteor that comes down that gives more of it.
It's kryptonite. He doesn't do good against kryptonite.
Hey, dude. What about that? What about that all-in? Hey, man, don't we have that all-star initiative already? Yeah, but this is going to be different. It's going to be a summer of Superman.
This is unlimited. There's unlimited possibilities with this. So the first thing we're doing is kryptonite. It's never been done before. They have unlimited kryptonite for their unlimited Superman.
It's like, oh, fucking hell. What's the point of having an initiative? Whatever. It's okay. I'll drive myself crazy. But, I mean.
Yes.
Well.
You will.
How about this? We'll review issue 1. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes whenever it comes
I'll
out.
get
we'll
issue
see what
1.
The free comic book day.
We'll make you guys a promise here.
Has. Yeah.
I'll even buy the free comic book day version on eBay if I have to. We'll see where it goes. If the free comic book day version is looking promising, sure, I'll get issue 1. But if not, let's be honest here, it's all going to be in a trade a year later anyway. Summer of Superman in a trade. It's going to be in a trade. Yeah, imagine
but it's just
a summer trade dropping in the winter.
God damn it.
God damn it, DC. But yeah.
And it will too. It will totally drop in like the middle of December. It totally will. It'll be like it'll come out and then like 2 months later the Blu-ray will come out of the movie. It'll be like, did you read your Summer of Superman? I mean, I know it's January.
Guys, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be a Summer of Superman. It's gonna be the Superman Unlimited and the All-Star one in a compendium. It's gonna be mega Superman Unlimited.
It'll be an awesome crossover.
Awesome crossover.
Mega Unlimited initiative.
Gail Simone,
Superman.
Dan Slott, Jason Aaron. Gail Simone and Dan Slott. Oh fuck, kill me now. All right, guys. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace. We'll be checking out of here in just a little bit here because I got to go eat some food. But yeah, man, it was great. First show, awesome. Banger. Yeah. So next week, we'll be
good.
No, you're good. Next week, we got the Joshua Williamson Green Arrow book we're going to be going over because I know I bought book 2, so I know I have that. But I know I have book 1. I opened it a while ago. We'll see what other fucking news comes out. This Superman, fuck. But yeah, man, anything you want to say before we head out, actually?
Nah, good. I had a lot of fun, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll definitely start earlier next week. We'll probably start like around 6, 7 my time. That way it doesn't go too late for you. But yeah, expect us to review Green Arrow, Joshua Williamson book next week and talk about some more news. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace.